then sure enough it kind of was, because in came Hex. But Hex was like, I think my Hex bill was like $1,400 a year.
Well, I was going to say, how much more strident would your protest have been if you'd learnt that in just, 30-odd years, Hex debts had been up around $100,000?
Well, yeah.
Could you imagine what you would have thought then?
Yeah, totally.
Well, I mean, maybe you did think that then. Maybe, in some way you imagine that this is what will happen. Prices will just keep going up.
It has certainly got out of hand. It's crazy, and it is actually become a huge impost. But I think when it was a moderate contribution, it sort of made sense. I think it is actually fair. And if you're going to make people make any kind of contribution to their education, doing it that way, not as upfront fees, but belatedly, is a fair way to do it. Because you only have to pay it back when you start earning decent money.
That's right, exactly.
But the point I was trying to make was all those protests back then in the 80s was all wet behind the ear, jumped up teenage brats and people in their early 20s like me. But it is very interesting, the profile of the Extinction Rebellion people, because if you're driving past them, you need to think of a different sledge.
Well, I mean, some of it's unbecoming to say to an older person.
Oh, that's right, exactly.
It's not very gentlemanly, is it?
Who was it who said that? Was it Winston Churchill about if you're not a socialist when you're 18, you haven't got a heart, and if you're not a conservative when you're 40, you haven't got a head. Yeah. The old maxim. I don't know if that was Churchill actually, but the old maxim seems to hold: the older you get, the more conservative you get.
Not
necessarily.
Not in this case.
No.
A couple of texts coming on the Telstra Storm Out Barker text line. Reader on the Australian Open issue that we spoke a bit, it sort of broke later in our program, the leaked emails from Tennis Australia to the WTA. Reader says, morning guys, regarding the tennis confusion, until this federal government makes the decision that to enter Australia you must be vaccinated, we'll always have these problems, as all the states and territories require it to enter. We are one country, but not right at the moment. It's felt like that a fair bit, Reader. And I saw the Victorian minister responsible yesterday that was rolled out, sort of answering immigration questions, and he's rightfully saying, "Well, I don't really know what the immigration law is about vaccination because I'm the sport and recreation minister in Victoria."
Yeah.
It's a federal government concern.
Great text from Mark in Glenside.
Yes, he says, I feel for Extinction Rebellion and hope they don't get characterised like Adelaide Crows fans as loving knitting and apricot slices. I think, is that, well, maybe we need to change our tune. Extinction Rebellion, how many of them are Adelaide Crows members?
Well, the thing is, a lot of their chants are the same.
Really?
Because, when you go past Flinders Street, Kick is one of them. But no, do something! Do something! There's a woman near us who goes, do something! What does that even mean?
Yeah,
do something. Maybe fold like one of those origami swans. Make a toasted sandwich. What do you want them to do?
It's real insight. Just anything. Yeah. Right. As opposed to just sitting there.
Yeah, exactly.
11
that's
after 6.
What they say to, Barnaby and ScoMo.
Do something.
Do something.
Yeah.
Do something.
They're sort of trying to do something, are they? It's hard to tease out exactly what they're doing.
I want to talk about the Andrew Huff piece in the paper today at some point.
All right. Let's hold it and let's talk about it at 6:30.
Right,
and in the meantime,
it's an excellent piece.
Everyone's homework
depressing.
Is to go read it right now.
Page 4 of the Advertiser, most important story you'll read today.
Yep. 12 minutes after 6, 8223 0000 is our number. You can text us on the Telstra Storm Out Barker text line. News headlines coming up in just a moment.
Are you looking to build your forever home? Would you like to age in place? Or perhaps you or a loved one is living with a disability? Design for Life is an initiative by custom home builder Normus Homes, giving you the opportunity to design and build a home to suit your specific needs without compromising on style. Normus integrates innovative changes today for enhanced livability tomorrow. To learn more about Design for Life, visit normushomes.com.au.
My name is Nitsu and I like St. Andrew's School.
St Andrew's School is a place where I can learn, understand and grow.
They help me learn about my division.
My school is all these things and more. It's what makes it one of South Australia's leading primary schools. Hi, I'm Serafina, school captain at St Andrews. Book your place on one of our school tours this Thursday at 6 p.m. or Saturday at 10 a.m. Just Google St Andrew's School.
As experts in hearing care, Specsavers Audiology know that when shopping for hearing aids, You need upfront information to make the right decision because hearing aids need to fit your needs, lifestyle and budget. And that's why Specsavers provide upfront prices on great value hearing aids online and in-store, even before your appointment. It pays to shop around too. Some Specsavers customers say they saved half the price quoted elsewhere on top of the range hearing aids. Specsavers Audiology for upfront prices and straight-up advice. Visit specsavers.com.au/hearing. That website one more time, specsavers.com.au/hearing.
I'm trading wheat. I'm trading wheat in the street. I'm sat on this seat trading wheat while I wait for my mate, my late mate, Matt. Matt with the neat hat. I'm trading wheat in the street, sat straight on this seat while I wait to meet my late mate, Matt with the neat hat. Sweet!
With powerful tools and a trusted trading platform, trade CFDs with CMC. Trade your way at cmcmarkets.com. You don't own underlying assets. Consider relevant PDS or information memorandum for CMC Pro accounts at our website.
You can trust 9 News is live and local. Weeknights at 5, nightly at 6. 9 News.
Need a shed strong enough to resist the harsh Australian climate? Visit Olympic Industries, built to last. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
14 minutes after 6. Let's get into the news headlines on this Tuesday morning. This would have been a little bit disconcerting last night. Passengers on a Qantas flight from Perth to Adelaide. Well, first, the plane was forced to make a diversion. It was diverted to Kalgoorlie after the pilot was alerted to an issue with the fuel system. Yeah, you don't like that. Passengers will be put on a replacement flight this morning. Listener Mouse was on the plane and said he knew something wasn't quite right.
We were about just past Esperance, and I said to the bloke next to me, and I said to the air hostesses, it's really, really hot here. We were sitting next to that engine, and all of a sudden the engine just stopped. We could tell the temperature just go down inside the cabin very quickly, and we just thought, oh, something's wrong here.
Ooh, something's wrong here. Yeah, the engine turning off, that's something.
Unbelievable. Mouse.
Thanks for calling in, Mouse.
How about that? That'd be quite a bracing moment, you'd think.
Now, you've put this thought in my head. I reckon we only had this conversation about a week or so ago about these planes all sitting gathering dust somewhere.
Well, have they been turning them on every
I don't know,
fortnight?
David. I didn't ever want to think about it. And now we've got Mouse sitting next to the engine that turns off every now and then.
It's like my old Toyota LWB 11-seat van. If I don't turn it on every month, it can literally take 10 minutes. Just ask the neighbours at Aldinga. It can take 10 minutes to turn that damn thing on. It's all right, because it's a land-based vehicle.
Yes. There's a greater margin for error with that one.
Well, that wasn't land-based last Friday. I'm getting the muffler fixed. The guy put it up on the crane, on the hoist.
Oh,
yeah.
Good. I thought for a second you got it doing jumps. New research suggests Australians are reluctant to put a down payment on travel. Oh, I wonder why. Consumer Group Choice has found only 23% of Australians would feel confident booking a holiday in the next 12 months.
They'll feel less confident if they read Andrew Huff's excellent article on page 4 of today's Advertiser.
1 in 2 people who responded to the survey said they were forced to cancel travel plans last year because of COVID. 1 in 2. Half of people who booked a holiday that responded.
Mm.
You know what? Sounds about right from people I know. I had to do it a couple of times.
Although I saw some optimists in Flight Centre. I was walking past the Flight Centre in the mall yesterday. I had to go down to Parliament to do an interview after the show. And, there were about three different groups in Flight Centre in Rundle Mall.
Oh,
and
good.
I thought, wow.
Good.
What are they doing in there?
Good to see. The test case.
That's right.
New details are emerging about the tragic accidental shooting that killed a cinematographer on the set of an Alec Baldwin film. Joel Souza, who was also shot, has told detectives Baldwin was rehearsing for a scene and was pointing the gun at the camera when it went off. Helena Hutchins' friend Rachel Mason says she reached out to the Hollywood actor to let him know she doesn't blame him.
He's so not responsible for this tragic, horrific nightmare of taking the life of my friend. And I wanted him to know that I felt that really strongly because I know he's a decent human being. And he feels terrible, obviously.
What a shocking situation.
Yeah, just awful. Also, there was a horrific crash at Seaton last night. Car smashed into a Stobie pole on Tapleys Hill Road near the Trimmer Parade intersection. The force of the impact resulting in the engine detaching from the car.
The photos are unbelievable.
Crikey. It was found 50 metres away.
Yeah, it's crazy.
The sole occupant of the car was taken to hospital critically injured. 2,000 litres of cream has spilled from a truck at Eastern Creek in Sydney's West. 2,000 litres of cream. Where's that going to smell? What's the weather
Well, it
like?
depends. I mean, what you need, you could get like a truck carrying some instant coffee to crash into it, and then maybe one with some brandy, and the one carrying some walnuts. You turn it into a sort of coffee mousse.
Well, that's probably preferable to just the 2,000 litres of cream sitting there, slowly beginning to curdle. Exactly. We're starting to wait. We're still waiting for South Australia's roadmap out of the pandemic. It's expected to be released within days. Yeah, this is like it's starting to look like what I used to tell my teachers about homework. It's coming, and I'll have it to you in tomorrow or the next couple of days.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then eventually they'd say, "Will, you graduated 6 months ago." The State Transition Committee will meet again today, and Health Minister Stephen Wade says they're waiting on detailed modelling from the Doherty Institute before they ultimately announce a plan.
The work on the modelling has continued to progress, and my understanding is that there's increasing clarity in terms of the scenarios that will be put to Transition Committee. We do look forward to being able to give more clarity in the coming days.
Federal Cabinet is expected to formally announce the approval of Australia's 2050 net zero emissions target as early as today. The Prime Minister will head to Glasgow at the end of the week for the Global Climate Summit. The Nationals have struck a deal with Scott Morrison backing his plan, including the return of the Nationals' Keith Pitt to the Cabinet as Resources Minister. That was the subject of a little bit of fun in question time yesterday.
Yeah.
That perhaps what was required for them to get Nationals consenting were better jobs for Nationals.
Yeah, that's right.
Crown Resorts will find out this morning if it's allowed to keep its Melbourne casino licence. The report from the 8-month-long Royal Commission will be tabled in State Parliament 2 weeks after it was handed down. Commissioner Finkelstein has previously suggested he'll find the company unsuitable to continue gambling operations at South Bank. It's not clear if Crown will be given time to redeem itself. It's a massive story. It's huge.
And there's such big names involved in it.
Yeah.
People, I mean, Andrew Dimitri was one of the board members. Helen Coonan, the former Minister for Communications, is on the board. And the question's going to be, is the problem with the personnel or is the problem with the company?
Yes.
In its totality.
Sydney's seeing a bit of this now too, aren't they?
Yeah.
It's the tentacles of this extending beyond Crown in Melbourne.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, totally.
Yeah. Top of 30 today. It's going to be a magnificent sort of a day. The wind's not too great, 20 to 30 k's an hour, and then 15 to 25 during the evening. Tomorrow's 30 as well, but there might be some rain. Potentially the chance of a thunderstorm, the Bureau is still saying as well. The showers will come most likely in the morning and afternoon, up to 3 mils on Wednesday. Thursday will be 27 with up to 5 mils. Friday it drops back to a top of 18 and 2. Saturday will be just 17 before warming up on Sunday, 20. And again, early in the week, next week, Monday, 27.
Absolutely brilliant text here on the Telstra Storm Mount Barker text line. This is my text of the month, and I'm going to put it in my top 5 texts of the year.
Wow.
Are we the only state discussing having a roadmap to having a roadmap?
Yeah, I think we are.
Yeah. It's extraordinary, isn't it?
It really is. 0480081395. That's the Telstra Storm Out Barker text line number. Tom Wren coming up in just a moment.
Ever heard of an ant coffin? Sounds funny, right? But having ants all over your place is no joke. The ant coffin from Termibusters is an effective way to rid yourself of black ants. It's easy and safe to use. Well, unless you're an ant. The ant coffin contains an environmentally friendly bait that worker ants take back to the colony. Then it's game over. Order your ant coffin now. Visit termibusters.com.au. termibusters.com.au.
When I retire, how much is the pension? How much more will I need? The only figure that you should remember is 5. 5 years. That's how long it will take to prepare for the retirement you want with MBA Financial Strategists. Our Retire in 5 plan will project where you'll be in 5 years and beyond. You might find that the wealth you need, you already have. Don't put it off. Start with a free consultation with MBA Financial Strategists. retireinfive.com.au. See website for T's and C's.
On Saturday, in a heart-stopping night of football, our Aussies defeated Brazil 3-1 in front of 15,000 screaming fans. Its office, our Commonwealth Bank Matildas, are back with a bang. I think that's meant to say it's official, David.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's tough to pick these things up on the fly. Well, it's official. I'll say it again. Our Commonwealth Bank Matildas are back with a bang. And tonight, they'll clash again. Can they make it a clean sweep against one of football's biggest powerhouses? Commonwealth Bank Matildas, they play Brazil tonight. It's game 2, live 7 o'clock tonight on 10 bold and 10 play on demand.
Drive your business further with a Renault Traffic van, like Daniel from Team Tank Logistics.
We rely on Renault Traffic to deliver freight safely. They're really fuel efficient and we get plenty of Ks out of a tank.
Renault Traffic from $39,990, drive away.
It's my business, it's my van.
APIA's $100,000 Go Live It Up giveaway gives you the chance to win one of 10 $10,000 cash prizes. To enter, purchase or renew an eligible home, contents or car insurance policy with APIA. Call us today on 13 50 50. APIA. Get set. Go. APIA is an authorised representative of AAI Limited, the product issuer. Read the PDS before buying insurance. TND also available. Call us for a copy. Competition ends 14th of the 12th of 21 AEDT. Full TNCs at apia.com.au/APIA cash giveaway. Permits SA T21/1456.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube. Need more living space or storage? Visit olympicindustries.com.au. Olympic Industries, built to last. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
24 minutes after 6. Tom Wren's in the 5AA Breakfast studio. Let's talk sports. Save up to 15% on selected Asco cooking appliances. Adelaide Appliance Gallery, the home of Mr. Dishwasher. Morning to you, Rennie.
Morning, Will. Morning, David. Hey, exciting times overseas at the moment with Aussies abroad. In particular, we've spoken about him a fair bit, and we're a bit biased because he played with the Adelaide 36ers, Josh Giddey. But yesterday, I think we got a bit of a taste of what we can, come to expect over there. 19 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists, 4 steals. I mean, they're impressive numbers for a third game in the NBA system up against the Philadelphia 76ers. Unfortunately, he would have been or was supposed to be playing against Ben Simmons, but clearly he's not playing at the moment with everything that's going on. Anyway, late in the game, he was playing it hard, Giddey. He was making a drive to the basket, went to, put the ball in, and he was fouled very, very hard by Joel Embiid. Now, we do have to give this the caveat. It was the Philadelphia commentary, but have a listen to how they interpreted what was a pretty unsportsmanlike foul.
Bounce pass ahead to Giddey, and Joel said that is not happening. Takes a tough tumble into the stanchion, and so did Giddey. Crowd not happy with the physical block from Embiid.
My question would be, well, why are you still running fast breaks? If you don't want us to play hard, why are you running hard? Jojo just not going to give up the easy two. I just worry about when he falls. No offense to Giddey, I could care less, but this guy, you don't want to see him fall awkwardly.
If that shoe was on the other foot, people would be going out of control. It was Josh Giddey could have been seriously hurt by what happened there.
But what about the commentary? The guy said I couldn't care less if he's injured or not.
Unbelievable. I'll tell you what, Stephen Wright.
So he's worried that this guy was going to be injured while he was fouling.
Yeah, spot on. Incredible.
I'm just going to sit this one out because I don't want anyone to pull over the old 5AA footy broadcasts to an exclusive Adelaide audience. I'm not sure we've always been the most sympathetic to visiting players. And I withhold all judgment on that piece of commentary.
What about my moment of shame at the Adelaide Carlton game in Melbourne when Chris Judd did his knee and ended his career? And my initial reaction when I saw it, I didn't realise it was a bad injury. I thought he was just staging for free, and I was down there going, "Get up!" No, hang on, sorry, quiet. I just sit here and pipe down a little bit. We appear to have lost one of the greats of the game.
One of the only 6 players who's won a Brownlow Norm Smith and
Still, he's a bit of a pain in the butt.
Yeah. But yeah, there you have it. Nonetheless, a great game from Josh Giddey.
Yeah, he looks terrific. He's producing a lot earlier than people would have expected.
Yep.
Some players get to the NBA and there's more space, and they find they can actually play better at a higher level than they did in college, or Josh Giddey was able to do in the NBL. Game 3, he's got a long way to go, but the signs are really promising. It's really exciting. Australians in the NBA, I still remember in the mid-90s when we were, let's say Dream Team comes into the Olympics in Barcelona in 92, and, we would have Shane Hill or Andrew Graves or Mark Bradkey or someone, they might go over for one season, play 42 games, and they might total 45 minutes. They might play a minute a game.
Mm-hmm.
And it was this novelty, like, oh, did you see Bradkey was on the court with Michael Jordan? It was seen as this kind of, we had that Australian cultural cringe thing. Now we've got blokes taken to the top 5 every other year and dominating. It's just fantastic.
Yeah, really well said. Also, the Grand Prix, while we're overseas, was held in Austin, Texas, and they do a bit of a theme where they interview people before the race, and Martin Brundle, one of the commentators, he was roaming the pit lane and went up to Megan the Stallion, who is a rapper. I'm not overly familiar with Megan's work, but anyway,
a female Megan.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
So wanted to get her thoughts, but clearly her minders didn't take too fondly to it. Let's have a listen.
And I think, yeah, it is. That's a very big bloke in front of her, I don't think. Megan, Martin Brundle from British Television. How are you? Megan the Stallion, you're a freestyle rapper. I think she's happy. Okay, boss. You're a freestyle rapper. Have you got any rap for us today on Formula One?
I have no rap today, I'm sorry.
Who are you supporting in the race? I can do that because I did. Yeah. Okay. She seemed very happy to talk, didn't she? That was very nice of her, and I appreciate that.
It's great vision because Martin Brundle does. It's like roaming Brian, but on the pit straight where the cars are all there, and you get celebrities and people mingling around. So she's walking by, and you could just, people that are in rap music in that genre in America tend to have large bodyguards.
Yeah.
And she's got this bloke who looks like he must be about 6'7" and weigh 450 pounds. He starts walking up to Brundle and just sort of pushing him away. And as he's trying to ask these questions of it, it's very funny. It's very
Good on
funny.
him for persevering as well.
Yeah, it kept on going, but I think if he was going to get in a tussle with that bloke, he would have come off second best.
Because he's not a big guy. Well, he certainly didn't look like it next to him. That was, yes.
Unbelievable
I wasn't familiar with Megan the Stallion.
No, either was I.
Me neither. Never heard of her.
No.
So he did well. I don't know if he had a producer in his ear telling him who it was or if he just recognised her, but that was pretty well done.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good stuff, fellas.
Good on you,
Cheers,
Randy.
Tom.
Save up to $800 on selected Asco washer dry packages. Adelaide Appliance Gallery, the home of Mr. Dishwash. If you read Huffy's piece, that was our little bit of homework for you ahead of 6:30.
Page 4.
Because it's part of, as one texter has labelled it, a roadmap to having a roadmap. We'll get into it right after 5AA News.
This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Sunny and 30 today with the 6:30 news. I'm Mel Usher.
Had a bingle driving to work? Contact premierpanel.com.au. RAA approved crash repairer.
Passengers on a Qantas flight from Perth to Adelaide last night ended up in Kalgoorlie. The pilot was alerted to an issue with the fuel system and landed in the mining town instead. Passengers were then taken back to Perth and will fly on here today. Listener Mouse says he knew something was wrong when the temperature in the cabin spiked.
I kept saying to the air hostess, I need water because it was very, very hot in here. And I thought it was the air conditioner, but it actually wasn't. And I knew, I was fine enough to know that there was something going on there. So then the pilot just said the left-hand engine has just stopped dead. We've only got one engine. We're turning towards Kalgoorlie to get back.
The car has been left almost unrecognisable after slamming into a Stobie pole in the western suburbs. It happened on Tapleys Hill Road at Seaton just before 7 last night. The vehicle lost its engine and wheels, blacking out the immediate area and hitting a water meter. More than 20 properties are still without power. The driver was hospitalised with critical injuries. SA's COVID restrictions will be reviewed when the Transition Committee meets today. The government has flagged a roadmap out of the pandemic, saying it's imminent, with vaccination rates the key to restrictions easing. 79% of South Australians have received their first dose of a vaccine. 63% are fully vaccinated. Well, only 23% of Australians are feeling confident about making travel plans in the next 12 months ahead of interstate and international borders reopening. Data from Choice shows 60% would be more likely to make a booking if they had clearer information about what would happen if travel was cancelled. Consumer rights expert Alison Elliott says governments need to make it easier for people to obtain refunds if plans are scratched.
It's very clear Australians are keen to travel again, see their loved ones and experience so much of Australia and the world. I think Australian governments can really assist people in booking confidence with travel again if they introduce enhanced consumer protections.
A Facebook whistleblower has told British MPs the social media giant is making hate worse. Nine's UK correspondent Brett McLeod reports.
Inside Westminster, former Facebook employee Frances Horgan warned MPs riots, such as those at the US Capitol in January, may be a prelude of worse to come if social media isn't regulated. The data scientist turned whistleblower told the Parliamentary Committee Facebook algorithms are pushing ordinary people to radical fringes, saying Facebook didn't invent hate, but unquestionably it's making hate worse. And she said senior executives, including Mark Zuckerberg, break the company's own moderation rules to allow politicians and celebrities to post contentious content.
Adele has managed the trifecta on the global music charts. Her new song Easy on Me has hit top spot in the US. It's already #1 in the UK and Australia. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Save up to 15% on selected Asco cooking appliances at Adelaide Appliance Gallery, home of Mr Dishwasher.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Mel. Josh Hazelwood is confident a few big days of red ball training will have him Ashes ready. That's despite a white ball heavy lead-up and no first-class cricket since April. The Australian fast bowler was a World Cup match winner against South Africa, and he says sticking to his bowling pattern is paying off.
They're expecting something different, so just keep doing the same thing and make them hit fours and sixes off your good deliveries, just above the stumps, a hard length. And that seemed to be working for the last, few weeks.
England has received a massive boost to its test squad ahead of the Ashes this summer. All-rounder Ben Stokes has been added to the touring squad following surgery on his finger. And Adelaide strikers all-rounder Rashid Khan has made a sparkling start to his T20 World Cup campaign, taking 4 for 9 to help his country smash Scotland by 130 runs. Trainer Danny O'Brien has confirmed young Werther won't be lining up in Tuesday's Melbourne Cup. An ACT scan has revealed the 2-mile racer would risk the horse's welfare. Alexei Popyrin has just hit the court in his first-round match at the Vienna Open, where he's up against number 3 seed Matteo Berrettini. Earlier, fellow Aussie Alex de Minaur had a straight sets win against South African veteran Kevin Anderson. And Tom Brady has picked up another NFL record, becoming the first quarterback in history to throw 600 touchdown passes. And there's one game on today to wrap up Week 7 with the New Orleans Saints taking on the Seattle Seahawks. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Head to Foodland, Drake's or IGA for Nutrimate, a new dog roll loaded with healthy nutrients.
Sunny for your Tuesday, a top of 30. A shower or two developing tomorrow, 30. Thursday showers increasing, 27. Right now it's 16 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Need a shed strong enough to resist the harsh Australian climate? Visit Olympic Industries, built to last. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
25 minutes to 7. The 40th anniversary of Great Southern Land will be played here in Adelaide at the Adelaide Festival. 40 years since the release of the song.
40. Wow.
40 years. There are 10,000 tickets available, $99 a pop. You have to go on a wait list at the festival's website, but if you're a big Icehouse Ivor Davies fan, you want to mark the occasion, you can do so at the Adelaide Festival. Nice to think we'll be booking in and going to these sorts of things next year, and we don't have to put in the caveat of if it happens.
Well, will we? So here's the story on page 4 by Andrew Huff. This is a really important story, and it's going to be interesting to see if the Premier gets involved in this debate, and indeed the alternative Premier gets involved in this debate, or do we just have a state that's run in perpetuity by a committee? South Australia's top COVID-19 officials are grappling with what restrictions will be needed when the Delta strain of COVID-19 hits, amid, quote, significant tensions over the state's roadmap out of the pandemic. The Transition Committee, which meets today, is developing new rules for when SA hits the magic 80% vaccination target. Health, Economic and Regional Affairs advice, as well as Doherty Institute modelling, will be taken into account when Police Commissioner Grant Stevens, the state coordinator, decides what restrictions can be eased. But senior government sources have revealed, quote, significant tensions between committee officials who have yet to formalise the roadmap. They said it was too early to call whether public mask use, such as on transport or in shops, will be scrapped, or if density limits and home gathering numbers could ease. Now, what about this? Officials are investigating a, quote, buffer zone of up to 3 months of marginal changes after borders lift, allowing SA Health to monitor how hospitals were coping with COVID. A 3-month buffer zone. So, the plan, and that sounds like it's coming from SA Health, seems to be so utterly cautious that we could actually be at a point where we reach 80% vaccinations and they still want to keep restrictions on us for another 3 months, which would mean, and like I've got a piece in the Australian today about all of these venues that have been part of life here in Adelaide for years, that are integral to places like the Fringe and the Festival, that are about to go bankrupt. It would mean you couldn't have more than 20 people at your home for your daughter's 18th. Every time you go to the supermarket, you got to get your damn mask out. While over in Sydney and Melbourne, it's, the land of the free.
They're talking about having 90,000 at the Boxing Day test in 2 months.
Seriously.
3 months. So there's a point at which...
We've had 4 people die. We haven't had a single case locally for months. We've had no community transmission whatsoever since the Greek on Halifax. And the other thing, every single person who was at the Greek on Halifax that night who was vaccinated didn't get sick.
Yeah, that's right. You made a really good point about the role that the Premier and the opposition leader play in this. And precious little of our policy response to COVID has been political in this state, largely because Peter Malinowskis has said that's unbecoming, and frankly, it's probably been a pretty good strategy for him politically. That said, there's real opportunity here for him to make the point, why did everyone else's health system with less lead time hold up, yet we have to put in place a 3-month buffer zone just to see how it plays out?
And we've been watching all hell break loose interstate for the last 6 months.
New South Wales didn't get a buffer zone period.
No,
they just got COVID.
Yeah,
so
exactly,
did Victoria.
Exactly.
They haven't been overrun. Other states just have a roadmap because they've got faith in their health systems. I actually think it shows a total lack of faith in the capacity for a South Australian health to deal with a surge, and lends credence to people saying, well, if we're ramping and having these sorts of issues in EDs now, what happens when COVID gets here? That's been batted away by the government. You can't bat it away if suddenly you're putting into place contingencies that don't exist elsewhere.
But what are you going to do to people's sanity by leaving all of this stuff in place for so long? Because you're so utterly paranoid about the prospect of a few cases popping up. They need to keep driving the vaccination message, which they are doing today. I mean, there's a good piece on the front page about that. But I think people will just crack and say, "Nah, stuff this."
We've got some text coming through on this right now. Telstra still Matt Barker text line. Someone asks, is it time to close the transition committee? How about Marshall start leading again? He's elected premier, isn't he? Not the unelected bureaucrats. Marcus in Elizabeth says, we're out here trying to kick a goal by getting the vax and encouraging everyone to roll up, and the goalposts keep getting moved further away.
Yeah, totally.
Thank you, Marcus. Forget Extinction Rebellion. If SA Health does that, we should rebel as a state, says another person. And Andrew says, I think 80% is ridiculous. We should definitely be waiting until 90%. Sydney and Melbourne are no example to follow. With respect, I couldn't disagree more. So, Andrew, on the other side of the debate, let us know your thoughts, folks. 8223 Keep those texts coming in. It's a Telstra Storm Out Barker text line. You can call it as well, because just before 7, a new segment that we really enjoy doing to shine a light on people that are heroes in whatever endeavour that they've helped you out in, or somebody who deserves a bit of a shout out on the radio. If you've got a hero of the week to nominate, call us on 8223 It's coming up before 7 o'clock. Just anyone. Doesn't have to be, superhero level heroism. It can just be someone who's done you a kindness that you'd like to shout out on the radio.
As the great Whitney Houston said, everybody's searching for a hero.
Exactly right.
People need someone to look up to. I decided long ago, Will, never to walk in anyone's shadow.
You should do the rest of the show in nothing but hero lyrics.
Yeah, okay.
Is it possible?
All right, yeah. Looking out for a hero. Did I ever say you
don't
were my
don't
hero?
burn them all now.
We could be heroes.
There you go.
There's a few.
18 to 7. I knew you could do it.
I don't know if I can do it for 2.25 hours.
We've got some sad news out of SAPOL. We started the shows talking about this. A 31-year-old man has died in that horrific crash at Seaton last night. We're going to catch up with the police in just a moment for more. All right, let's check traffic. Do you have an existing BMW service-inclusive package? You can book your next service at Glenelg BMW.
Woodville Gardens got a smash on Hanson Road and Ridley Grove. Dry Creek got debris on the north-south motorway as you're heading outbound. Seaton, urgent electrical works. That's on Tapley's Hill Road at Trimmer Parade. It's after a serious accident, one lane closed southbound. And Crave has got a right-hand lane closed on the down track through the tunnel, speeds reduced. Got cameras Main North Road, Enfield and Ridley Grove at Ferreton Park. Hey You is your VIP ticket below deck. Stream every season plus brand new episodes all in one place, only on Hey You. Head to heyu.com to try for free. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on FIVEaa.
I'm Kathy Nagel, the Chief Executive of Western Hospital Henley Beach. Western Hospital GP Clinic is currently running our FluVax clinic. Book online for an appointment which suits your needs. Our GP practice offers individualised care in a modern clinic with appointments which ensure your concerns are heard. You're also welcome to utilise all of the services of our hospital without having to travel anywhere else. Western Hospital, your hospital that cares. For more information, visit westernhospital.com.au.
The time is now. AC8 O'Connell brings new life to this landmark location. An opportunity to tell a new and unique story. A connected community with arts, culture, sport and entertainment on your doorstep. 2, 3 or 4 bedroom apartments with unparalleled views to the city, hills, coast and beyond. The long-awaited display suite is now open, showcasing the incredible lifestyle on offer at AC8 O'Connell. More than an address. AC8 O'Connell, North Adelaide.
As we get older, we want to be able to enjoy a better life, and perhaps most importantly, we want to be able to enjoy it in our own home. So, if you or a loved one needs some help to enjoy a better life at home, Southern Cross Care is here for you with their home care services.
Led by qualified and compassionate health professionals, their home care services will help you take care of yourself, your health, your home and your garden. Plus, there's no setup or exit fees with Southern Cross Care's home care services, and that gives you that extra peace of mind.
To find out more, visit southerncrosscare.com.au or call 1800 852 772. Southern Cross Care, better for life at home.
Sleeping Duck is a mattress startup that gives you confidence you're getting value and quality. It's won a ton of awards because it's all about getting it right for you, without paying too much, or getting stuck with something you don't like from a store. Check it out at sleepingduck.com.
The all-new Kia Sportage medium SUV is almost here, and it's ready to be unleashed with a beastly sculpted exterior, soft-touch leather and suede interior, and a kingdom worth of Kia boot space. It's a new benchmark medium SUV where beast mode comes standard. The redesigned Kia Sportage is dropping in November. Register your interest at kia.com.au.
You can trust 9 News is live and local. Weeknights at 5, nightly at 6. 9 News.
Need more living space or storage? Visit olympicindustries.com.au. Olympic Industries, built to last. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
15 minutes to 7. Senior Constable Kylie Simpson from SAPOL joins us. Kylie, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Now, we just read out an update that you guys provided from SAPOL with regard to that awful crash last night, and unfortunately, it's the worst has resulted.
That's right. Police and emergency services were called to Seaton at the intersection of Tapless Hill Road and Trimmer Parade just before 7 last night after reports that a ute crashed into a Stobie pole. So the actual impact of the crash brought down power lines and hit a water meter as well. So SA Power Networks and SA Water attended. But sadly, the driver and sole occupant of the ute, a 31-year-old man from West Lakes, died at the scene. So major crash officers attended, examined the circumstances, but they are asking anyone who may have any dash cam footage or who witnessed the crash but hasn't yet given their details to them to please contact Crime Stoppers on 1800 333 000. And sadly, the man's death is the 81st life lost on SA roads this year compared to 71 at the same time last year. So extremely sad.
It certainly is, Kylie. Also, a man has been arrested. It was a crazy story. He crashed his car on the freeway and then started acting aggro.
That's right. This was on the southeastern freeway at Leewood Gardens last night, about 8:15. And you're right, he did crash the car, and multiple people tried to help him. And he ended up being arrested as he became aggressive and was behaving erratically. So the 28-year-old man from Ranella was taken to the Royal Adelaide Hospital, and that's where he remains in a serious condition. So his car was towed from the scene, but anyone who witnessed the crash is asked to contact Crime Stoppers on 1800 333 000.
And police have made an arrest after yesterday's Nord hold-up, Kylie.
That's right. A teenage girl was arrested in relation to that robbery. So about 12:30 a.m. on Monday morning, police were called to the parade after an alarm activation, and it will be alleged that the teen entered the service station. She advised staff that she had a weapon and demanded cash. So she left with a small amount of cash on Elizabeth Street. Thankfully, staff were not physically injured, but following an investigation, 17-year-old girl of no fixed address was arrested and charged with aggravated robbery. So she was refused police bail and will appear in the Adelaide Youth Court today.
Good on you, Kylie.
Thanks,
Thank you for
Kylie.
that. Senior Constable Kylie Simpson from SAPOL. Let's talk weather. Vince Rowlands is the senior forecaster at the Weather Bureau. Vince, do you reckon we get to 30 today?
Yeah, hopefully we do. We've had 30 on the forecast before, but didn't quite make it. But yeah, today, beautiful sunny conditions, pretty warm atmosphere, and we are expecting those northerlies to kick in a little bit today. So yeah, expecting temperatures to get to 30 degrees today. A little bit warmer up in the northern suburbs with 31 for Elizabeth, and Mount Barker a touch cooler with 29 degrees. We're currently sitting at 15.5 degrees, and we've got down to 14 overnight. But as we head into tomorrow, expecting a pretty warm overnight conditions, looking at a minimum only getting down to 20 degrees, but 30 degrees again tomorrow. But we will see some showers developing during the morning into the afternoon, and we've got a risk of some thunderstorm activity during the afternoon as well. And it's quite a bit of wind aloft, so we could see some pretty good gusts with those thunderstorms if we do get some moving across the Adelaide region. So a bit of rainfall around, so maybe up to about 3 millimetres or so, but certainly if we get some thunderstorm activity, those numbers could go up a little bit. As we head into Thursday, a touch cooler, down to 27 degrees, but the showers and possible thunderstorms just lingering around. Could see some rainfall up to about 5 millimetres. But as we head into Friday, we are expecting winds to swing around to the southwest, so much cooler conditions, dropping down to 18 degrees. Still some shower activity around, but only up to a couple of millimetres, and just the risk of those showers lingering during Saturday as well, with a top of 17 degrees. But then we start to see conditions warming up as we get the wind swinging around to the north again. So 20 for Sunday to finish off the weekend, and then pretty warm on Monday with 27.
Good stuff, Vince.
Good on you,
Thanks for that.
Vince Rowland, senior forecaster at the Weather Bureau. We've had an absolute explosion of texts on the Telstra Storm at Barker text, and there's no way we're going to be able to read them all. But I think it might be instructive for people listening. Just want to do a sample of the range of opinions we're getting, because it's
the other
quite
thing
remarkable.
I'd say, it's not just the range of opinion, it's the fact that the opinion seems to be almost line ball. For every message we get from someone saying, no, there's still no rush, we don't want to take unnecessary risks, and some people quite vehement in that view, there are others that are equally volatile in the other direction, saying you have got to be kidding. We've had months to get on top of this. And quite a lot of sentiment about people who are still not getting vaccinated. Anyway, as Will said, here's a sample. Mick from Glandore. Delta is coming. People are going to get sick. People you and I know and love are probably going to die. Perhaps that's why we're going to be cautious. I agree. One here from Jane with a Y. Guys, I'd be more comfortable with 90% vaccinated, given it's not the whole population. And then Jenny says, boys, I'm really tired of non-health people having strong views supporting opening up. It's interesting that anyone who actually works in the health system is not advocating for opening up willy-nilly. So there's a sample of 3 from that side of the ledger. Then there's comments like this from Rick in Aldinga Beach. What do all the people on the transition committee have in common? Nothing has changed with their work, no pay cutbacks, no restrictions. All the heavy lifting has come from the private sector. Mr. Marshall, we are not all in this together, never have been. Stuff this for a joke. Bill says, boys, I'm completely over SA Health and their all too cautious approach. Grant Stevens, on the other hand, I admire, but he seems hamstrung. And then Trev says, Dave and Will, I've had enough. I've started pushing boundaries, such as stop wearing masks all the time. I'll only QR code at small businesses who can't afford the fines. And then Guy in Highgate says, morning, lads, it's about time those who are elected to govern actually start doing the job. So there's hugely passionate views on either side of the divide here. Keep them coming, folks. It's it actually, Gilles, there was an online poll I read with one of these articles, and it was 54-46 in favour of opening up.
Yeah.
And that
sounds about right based on the text line.
Does, doesn't it?
Well, we can all come together to celebrate a hero after the break. This will be a great unifying experience for everyone. You know, we have respectful disagreements from time. That's a modern, mature democracy.
This might be one of the last places in the world where you can do that. You can't do it on Twitter.
Try do that on social media.
Yeah, exactly.
822 300 00 is the number. Now, nominate a hero, someone you like, and we can all celebrate the wonderful people making a contribution in society, and you can interpret hero however you like. 8223 0000 the number.
How do you know if the milk you're buying is local? Easy. Just look for 3 words. Fluorio Milk Company. If the bottle you pick up has those 3 words on it, Fluorio Milk Company, it's guaranteed to be local. It's guaranteed to be fresh too. And the big plus, you're supporting SA dairy farmers, and for that, we're forever grateful. 3 words. Fluorio Milk Company. South Australian and proud of it.
No one likes to wait, especially if you're waiting for something really amazing, like a new Mazda. Lucky, you won't have to wait too long at Mawson Lakes Mazda. Right now, you'll find new stock and demos right across the range, which means there's no compromise. You'll get everything you want and love in your new Mazda. Get behind the wheel of your dream Mazda sooner. Mawson Lakes Mazda, just a short drive from the city.
Greyhound Racing SA could be shouting you dinner. All you need is 3 greyhounds from Box 8 to win. Book a group of 4 or more for dinner for the Angle Park 8's promotion at the Angle Park Greyhounds on a Thursday night, and if 3 dogs wearing number 8 win on the night, you'll have the entire value of your booking refunded. That's right, free. Some T's and C's apply. Bookings must be made by 11 a.m. the Monday prior. Gamble responsibly. Visit chasers.net.au for more.
It's me, Santa. 2021 has been a tough year, and I'd like to wish every South Australian a very Merry Christmas. Except Stephen Marshall, who is once again being a Grinch. This year, he's making South Australia the only Australian state where Christmas Day isn't a public holiday. So thousands of South Australian workers will not receive public holiday penalty rates for working on Christmas Day. I'll be skipping your house, Stephen Marshall.
Authorised Josh Peak, SDA Union, Kent Town.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube. Need a shed strong enough to resist the harsh Australian climate? Visit Olympic Industries, built to last. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
5 minutes to 7. Time for Hero of the Week.
I'm holding out for a hero till the end of the night. He's gotta be strong and he's gotta be fast and he's gotta be fresh from the fight.
Oh, how can you not be up and about listening to that? Mind you, Lucy wandered to the studio. I reckon she's about a 2 out of 10 on the enthusiasm scale. What's going on over there, Lucy? You fired up?
Oh,
You ready to go?
Yeah, no, a good song choice.
Yeah.
Oh,
Right,
yeah.
You're saving yourself.
Who is it? Just out of interest. Is that Laura Branigan?
No.
Irene Cara?
No.
Isn't it?
You talk, I'll find out.
Isn't it? Who sung?
It's on the Shrek 2 soundtrack.
Who sung Total Eclipse of the Heart?
Oh, Bonnie Tyler.
Yeah, isn't it? It's Bonnie Tyler.
Okay,
Yeah.
excellent.
All right, now we've got that
And
established.
then remade to the Shrek 2 soundtrack.
Yeah, right.
And Bonnie Tyler is my hero of the week.
Yeah.
Not really.
What about how she can make her eyes light up? It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, real talent.
All right.
Okay, who's
Let's
gonna kick it
let's
off?
get to the business of heroes this week. You can start, Andy.
Go ahead. Right. My hero of the week is the bloke that runs the Cool Nail Salon at Aldinga Shopping Centre.
I get it.
You're kidding.
You chipped a nail, did you?
No. So Kelsey, my wife, was getting her nails done the other day, and she forgot something, so I had to go from home to take it to her. And the guy said, "I was all right. I'll see you when I get home." And he said, "Oh, we're just closing up, so you can sit down and have a massage if you want one of the massage chairs."
Oh, yes, please.
Free
Is this
of
the bloke
charge.
opposite Foodland there?
Yeah. And I said,
I've never been in there.
I sure will. And sat down for half an hour and got a free massage. It was
Oh,
great.
that's
You're kidding.
magnificent.
It was awesome.
That's a hero right
of the
there.
week.
That's a hero
Love
of the
that
week.
guy.
All right, Luce, who's your hero of the week?
Well, it's a real theme because mine was a masseuse last week.
You're right.
But anyway, I'm going to stick
The
with
pampered 5AA
the
Breakfast
pampered-
production team.
And I'm going to continue on that theme because I got a haircut on Friday.
Yes.
And I make the decision about twice a year. It just hits me. I'm like, I need a haircut and I need it now. So I booked in, went and saw my hairdresser, and she had a massage chair. She gave me a great haircut.
Oh, good.
And thank you,
Lucy's-
Brody.
They are, hairdressers are being celebrated people around the country right now.
Yes.
Albeit you've had no excuse not to get a haircut at any point in the last 18 months, Luce. So,
I know.
Yes, well.
You know, I've been busy
neither
doing
have I.
stuff. David, when are you getting yours?
Eventually. Will seems to get his done every 3 weeks.
Uh,
Must be an old lingering thing from TV.
every 5 weeks. No, I just hate having long hair.
It's like a male thing.
Oh, no, I can't handle being, yeah.
I want Will to grow it out so I can straighten it one day.
Mine's kind of serious. The doctor who looked after my son Sam on Friday did such an excellent job.
Oh, good. Sam's all right?
He's fine. He's fine. No issue with him whatsoever. But yes, he did an excellent job, that bloke. And I'm going to buy him a very good bottle of wine as a thank you.
Haven't we come to appreciate our medical professionals?
Have we ever?
Of late.
Yes.
You know who else we need to appreciate very much on this program? And I'm nominating a hero on behalf of everyone in the team, Andy, Lucy, David, you two, and me. It's the person who came in yesterday to make this work.
Damo the tech guy.
Yeah, that's right. People might think it's 8 o'clock. Well, it's not. But people wouldn't have heard this at 8 o'clock yesterday because I did it. I just had to manually do it as though I was, from Police Academy. It didn't go particularly well, and nothing was going particularly well. But a big thanks to our excellent tech, Damien Porter, for coming and fixing everything up in the studio.
Look, for everybody who's listening who works in IT as well.
Yes.
How often does the help desk get any credit for anything?
Never.
The help desk is like the magnet for every occupational failing that besets the other 99% of the building. People who come back from holidays ring 2777. That used to be the help desk number when I worked in Sydney. I used to ring all the time. My password's not working. It's like, well, it's because it's expired. What do I do? Most people, when they talk to the tech guys, they're not at their sparkling best, are they?
Because it's no one's first option.
No.
It's like your point of...
I've already turned it on.
Yeah, it's your last...
I've already turned it off and on again.
Last resort. I'm going to call an expert to help me out with this. Right. Every Tuesday morning, we're nominating heroes, 8223 As you see, it doesn't need to be the person who's, resequenced DNA to cure some sort of disease.
No, exactly.
It can just be someone... who cut your hair. 8223 or text us on the Telstra Stormont Barker text line 044808 1395. Coming up after 7 o'clock this morning, we'll be talking more about that Qantas flight. It was meant to be from Perth to Adelaide, got diverted a short way along the journey in really dramatic circumstances. We'll replay you some of a caller that we got to 5AA. Explaining, I think, really calmly what would be a really panic-inducing sort of situation.
I would be in full Lord's Prayer mode, and I'm not even a believer.
Yeah,
I'd
get
be
to that.
Chanting, I'd be wrapping myself in rosary beads, you name it.
You'll also hear from the Victorian Premier, Daniel Andrews, his view on those leaked emails that suggest unvaxxed tennis players might be playing at the Australian Open in January. And then a little bit later in the morning, the leader of the Federal Labor Party, Anthony Albanese, will join us.
Online, on DAB Digital Radio, and on 1395 AM. Talking Adelaide. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Sunny and 30 today with the 7 o'clock news. I'm Mel Usher.
Had a bingle driving to work? Contact Premier Panel Services at premierpanel.com.au.
A man's died following an horrific road crash at Seaton. His vehicle smashed into a Stobie pole on Tapleys Hill Road last night near the Trimmer Parade intersection. Senior Constable Kylie Simpson says the force of the impact resulted in the engine detaching from the car and wheels were found 50 metres away.
Sadly, the driver and sole occupant of the ute, a 31-year-old man from West Lakes, died at the scene. So major crash officers attended, examined the circumstances, but they are asking anyone who may have any dash cam footage or who witnessed the crash but hasn't yet given their details to them to please contact Crime Stoppers on 1800 333 000.
Passengers on a Qantas flight from Perth to Adelaide last night didn't leave WA. The plane was diverted to Kalgoorlie after the pilot was alerted to an issue with the fuel system. Passengers will head to Adelaide this morning. We're still waiting for South Australia's roadmap out of the pandemic. It's expected to be released within days. The State Transition Committee will meet today. Health Minister Stephen Wade says they're waiting on detailed modelling from the Doherty Institute before announcing a plan.
The work on the modelling has continued to progress, and my understanding is that there's increasing clarity in terms of the scenarios that will be put to Transition Committee. We do look forward to being able to give more clarity in the coming days.
Meantime, South Australians are being urged to book in for their first COVID jab by this Friday in order to be fully protected by the time borders open. The findings of Victoria's Crown Resorts Royal Commission will be made public today. Nine's Rochelle Murdoch reports.
Commissioner Ray Finkelstein has already suggested he will find Crown unsuitable to operate its lucrative Southbank casino, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's game over. The company could be given a grace period, or an independent monitor could be appointed to oversee crucial reforms. Crown has warned any other outcome would put thousands of jobs at risk. The state government will table Commissioner Finkelstein's report in Parliament this morning, nearly 2 weeks after it was handed down. The Royal Commission was triggered by a separate inquiry in Sydney, which heard evidence of money laundering and links to organised crime.
The level of greenhouse gas concentrations has hit a new record high, and it's increasing at a faster rate than the last decade. A UN report is warning the world is well off meeting its target for cutting emissions. But Terry Tallis from the World Meteorological Organisation says leaders need to do more.
So far we have heard lots of political support for enhanced ambition of mitigation, but the concrete pledges have still been missing. And at the moment we are heading towards 2.5 to 3 degrees warming rather than 1.5 to 2 degrees.
More details are emerging about the events that led up to last week's fatal shooting on an Alec Baldwin movie set in New Mexico. Reports out of the US today say the assistant director who handed the gun to Baldwin was fired from a movie in 2019 after a crew member was injured when a gun unexpectedly discharged on set. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Save up to $800 on selected Asco washer dryer packages. Adelaide Appliance Gallery, home of Mr Dishwasher.
And it's over to Tom Wren, and there's plenty of cricket and plenty of footy today. What is happening with tennis as well, Tom Wren?
Well, it is all happening. We're going to start with cricket though, Mel, because England has received a massive boost to its test squad ahead of this Ashes summer. All-rounder Ben Stokes has been added to the England touring squad following surgery on his finger. Meantime, former Australian cricket captain Mark Taylor is warning our T20 side can't afford to rest on its laurels after its opening win over South Africa. Taylor says they'll need to win at least 3 of their remaining matches to reach the knockout stages.
They've got England, they've got the West Indies, who, they're ranked 9th at the moment, but they've won 2 of the last 3 World T20s. West Indies are still very dangerous, so there's a trouble. They've also got Bangladesh and Sri Lanka, who are the 2 qualifiers in that group.
And South Australia has gone down to Western Australia in its one-day clash at the Wacker, losing by 6 wickets. Sean Marsh was the hero for the home side with an unbeaten 80 to help guide his side home. No joy for the Australians so far in the first round of the St Petersburg Open in Russia, with James Duckworth and Mark Polmans unable to progress to the second. John Millman will be in action tonight. Things, though, are looking a little better at the Vienna Open, with Alex de Minaur through to the round of 16 with a straight sets win against South Africa's Kevin Anderson, while Alexei Poprin is currently on court in his match against Matteo Berrettini. And in some soccer to finish, the Matildas will be hoping for more of the same when they take on Brazil tonight in Western Sydney. The Matildas won on the weekend against Brazil 3-1. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Glenelg BMW is now open on Brighton Road. Book a test drive today.
At Seaton got urgent electrical works. That's on Tapley's Hill Road after a serious accident. Near Trimmer Parade, got a lane closed southbound there. Woodville Gardens smash on Hanson Road and Ridley Grove. And Crayford, speed restrictions on the freeway both directions. Plus got a right-hand lane closed on the down track through the tunnels. Cameras, Main North Road, Enfield, Murray Street, Angaston. Anaconda Monopara opens this Saturday. Come down and celebrate with mega deals. First 100 customers get a $50 gift card. Head to 600 Main North Road this Saturday. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Head to Foodland, Drake's or IGA for Nutrimate, a new dog roll loaded with healthy nutrients.
Sunny, heading for a top of 30 today. A shower or 2 developing tomorrow, but also 30. Thursday, showers increasing 27. Right now, it's 16 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Need more living space or storage? Visit olympicindustries.com.au. Olympic Industries, built to last. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
6 after 7, getting a few late nominations for Hero of the Week. We might hear from those before we wrap some of the big stories this morning. Kay in Golden Grove, good morning.
Hi, guys.
Who's your Hero of the Week, Kay?
A local resident who lives near
the magnificent Spring Hill waterfall, who does care, plantings, mulching, with his own money in his own time to keep it looking magnificent.
Oh, that's nice.
It's a terrific three-tiered, beautiful waterfall. It's magnificent. My happy place where I go with my dog and I see him every day. What a hero.
Absolutely,
That's
Kay.
a great
That's
call,
a great
Kay.
nomination. Thank you, Kay.
People like that who beautify the neighbourhood for the benefit of others. There's someone near us who's just gone totally berserk with their verge and has planted what would be like 30 square metres of flowers, daisy bushes, agapanthus, a few clivias,
Gee, it does,
rosemary.
it
just
does
nice.
lift the whole area.
Yeah, it's good.
If only we had councils who maintain verges, that'd be good.
And some councils are better than others as well.
Yeah, ours is hopeless. Rob in Somerton Park, good morning.
Yeah, morning, guys. My hero is my lovely wife, Ramona. Yesterday, as she was driving off to go and work 4 days up in Crystal Brook Hospital, she drove me and dropped me off at the door of the pub.
Thank you, Rob.
Are you still there, Rob?
Hey, we said
He's done a Barry.
You can make what you like of Hero of the Week.
That's right.
All level of hero being nominated. That was terrific. Appreciate those two calls. 8223 is our number. Let's get to some of the news around this morning. And I think the most extraordinary piece of audio came from a caller, Mouse, who was on the flight from Perth to Adelaide, Qantas flight 888 last night, forced to divert to Kalgoorlie because of a reported fuel issue. And when you put it like that, it sounds fairly routine and undramatic. But then you hear what Mouse had to say. It was like sitting on board the plane.
I kept saying to the air hostess, I need water because it was very, very hot in here. And I thought it was the air conditioner, but it actually wasn't. And I knew, I was fine enough to know that there was something going on there. So then the pilot just said the left-hand engine has just stopped dead. We've only got one engine. We're turning towards Kalgoorlie to get back.
Unbelievable.
It's getting hot.
And then suddenly...
Weirdly hot. And then it gets cold and the engine's not running.
Hmm.
No
yeah,
thanks.
no. Pass.
Yeah, pass. We were already getting texts about this, and it's worth following up from yesterday, because late in our show yesterday, we started getting some correspondence about the leaked emails from Oz Open officials to the WTA that seemed to be saying there was some wiggle room whereby unvaccinated tennis players, a la Novak Djokovic, could... Well, not that he's confirmed it either way. We should be clear about that. He's an anti-vaxxer, but he's never actually said whether he has it or not. We presume he doesn't. He has... There appeared to be some wiggle room that meant that they were going to be able to get into the country and participate in the tournament. Well, Victorian Premier Daniel Andrews says he believes the Commonwealth should force tennis players to be fully vaccinated to take part in the Australian Open.
All the people who are watching the tennis at the Australian Open, they're going to be double vaxxed. All the people that work there are going to be double vaxxed. Stands to reason that if you want to get into the country to be part of that tournament, then you should be double vaxxed as well.
Does anyone disagree with that?
I don't think so.
I think, we're talking about 54, 46 and opening up, but that, to me, feels like there'd be about universal. There's consensus on...
Well, if it's good enough for everyone in the crowd to be told
Yeah.
they have to be vaccinated in order to attend, this is where we can't have different rules. And this is why we get texts like this one from Sue in Christie's Beach. He says, once again, the rules and restrictions we're living with don't seem to apply to big money events. I remember the last Australian Open, Djokovic was demanding a private home with a tennis court for his quarantine instead of what us mere mortals have to put up with. It's a joke. And Sue finishes, P.S. I've had flu once many years ago. I don't consider myself immune, and because of that, I overshot every year. Take that, Joker.
Good on you, Sue.
Thanks, Sue.
Now, Cleo Smith has been missing for 11 days now. Her mother, Ellie, yesterday took to media again to plea for any information about her whereabouts.
There's probably a million things that I've thought of and everyone else, and as everyone tells us, they're searching every angle that we probably have thought of. I guess the worst part is we can't do anything more. It's out of our hands, so we just feel hopeless and out of control.
And from the world of sport and collectibles, you a collectibles guy?
I suppose records would count.
Yeah, records would count. I
Yep.
wonder if anyone of our listeners have any real sort of priceless or unique items. A pair of Michael Jordan's old trainers have sold for nearly $1.5 million at auction. Not unique for any reason, just shoes once worn by Michael Jordan. The Nike airships were worn by him early in his career with the Bulls in 1984.
Do you really want a pair of mangy old shoes?
I just wonder... how you incorporate that into a night of entertainment. So you have your friends over. Do you show them to a room with a glass case and say, you want to take a peek at the sneakers?
How do you even mount them? Like you can understand a footy jumper. If you had like a...
Yeah, up on the wall. It's unassuming.
Yeah, if you had Rick 24 Davies above your dining table, that'd look fantastic. I've been trying to get permission to do that for years at our house, but to no avail.
Maybe you have the shoes in the middle of the dining table like a centrepiece.
Like on a Lazy Susan.
Yeah, you can spin them around, get a...
Well, you could put Grazzini sticks in them and use them as part of the antipasto plate, couldn't you?
I mean, I don't know.
They look terrific.
Hygienically, how that holds up.
I hope Nicholas Spurrier's not listening.
That's right. Just because of that suggestion, the grace period's now 4 months. Angie in Mansfield Park has called in. Morning, Angie.
Good morning, guys. How are you?
Yeah, we're
good,
well.
Thanks, Angie.
Good, thanks. Look, I just want to make a bit of a comment about, I think what was on the front line of the Advertiser this morning. Not that I've seen the full article, but as a nurse and a nurse who works A, in the hospitals, and B, I'm out on the front line as well in the red zones. Look, I know people sort of want to get going, but people need to realise that we've got no COVID here and how lucky we have been, right? And, we've been able to get haircuts, we've been able to get, our waxing done, all of those things. We can still go out, we can still go out to restaurants. But however, I just want people to know that, yes, we are getting ready for when we open the borders that COVID is going to come. They're recruiting nurses, we're getting ready for the surge, we're getting ready for all of that. And I think, and I know you've got both sides of an argument. People want to open up, people want people coming home for Christmas. I just want to say be careful what you wish for. And I think people need to realise how lucky we have been so far. There is no COVID in South Australia.
But are you saying we should just leave it the way it is, Angie, and say to people, well, look, sorry, family reunions, all that, as hard as it is, we still need to take a very cautious approach?
I kind of think it. Look, I get it. We've got family interstate. Now we've got family who've only just now, they're over it in Melbourne. They haven't seen their family for so long, they're just about depressed about it. But my concern is that when we do open up the borders, that it is going to come here, right? And as much as it's sad and as much as it's all of those things, I just wish people would start to think, well, don't blame Stephen Marshall, don't blame, the committee. They're doing, I think, what's best in the interest of this state as well.
Yeah.
So, but I just want you to know that we are getting ready, and believe me, I'm probably going to be working 24/7.
Yeah.
And those nurses out there need to be commended.
And you're on one of few industries, Angie, with a vaccine mandate as well. How's that been received by your colleagues?
Yeah, well, actually quite good. I mean, look, to tell you the truth, I'm going to tell you now, as a nurse, I fell into what they call the 1B category, right?
Right.
So I wasn't actually, didn't have to be vaccinated until it came out in about April this year, where they said, SA Health said, right, now you're ready to go. It's taken me up until 2 weeks ago to get my second vaccine. Would you believe it?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's gone well. I must admit, I'm not an anti-vaxxer. My kids have been vaccinated with everything, and I was a little bit concerned and a little bit hesitant. I got the Pfizer. I've been okay, a little bit tired and a little bit lethargic, which, I sort of think hopefully that'll wear off. But it's gone well, and we nurses aren't allowed to work unless we're vaccinated, and especially the ones of us that are on the front line that are doing the vaccinations and the COVID testing.
Well, Angie, we appreciate your call.
Yeah.
Thank you for the work you do, and thanks for giving us a bit of an insight into what it's like and what you guys are expecting in the months that are coming. 16 minutes after 7, let's check traffic. Glenelg BMW, they're now open on Brighton Road. You can book a test drive today.
At Carrota Park, got a 2-car accident on Anzac Highway near South Road. That's city-bound. Woodville Gardens got a smash on Hanson Road at Ridley Grove. Seaton, urgent electrical works. Tapley's Hill Road at Trimmer Parade after serious accident. One lane closed southbound. And Crayford, speed restrictions on the freeway with the right-hand lane closed on the down track through the tunnels. Shopping around for the latest 5G phone at Optus, you can get the best price guaranteed. Visit Optus in-store or check out the Optus 5G phone price match online today. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Leon Biner.
Do you know how many people are locked out of South Australia? We're talking 8,000 people. Why is this still happening? What is the problem of processing the 8,000 people that want to come home? What the hell's going on? Surely we can manage that.
9 till 12 weekdays.
We'll start to shake the tree on this. I think somebody needs to get their backside into gear, lest they get a kick up the schnuts.
SSA as Leon Biner. SSA as AA.
The sun, the brightest entity in our solar system. But what's the brightest place on Earth? Right here at Kate's house. She just installed a home battery in the state that leads the world in home batteries, storing the sun's renewable energy, reducing emissions, making power more affordable. Right here in SA, the brightest place on Earth. For your government subsidy and more affordable energy, visit homebatteryscheme.sa.gov.au. A message from the Government of South Australia.
Hi ladies, Heather from Joyreen Fashions. Do you get frustrated with the lack of choice to fit the mature figure? With 50 years fashion experience, we can definitely assist you in this area. We have a wonderful choice of spring and summer fashion and one of Adelaide's largest selections in casual day wear through to special occasion wear. Come in early and let's help you find that special outfit for any occasion. Joyreen Fashions for mothers and daughters, 491 Port Rush Road, Glenunga.
When it comes to big cleaning projects, you can rely on the team at Exis. From kitchen exhaust and cool room cleaning, HVAC and ventilation systems, medical and COVID cleaning, pressure cleaning, gutter cleaning and more. You'll find Exis at work in our hospitals, supermarkets, restaurants, pubs, takeaway venues, councils, universities, food manufacturing, defence and sporting venues. If your business requires a standard of excellence in all things cleaning and hygiene, get in touch with Exis. EXIIS. Exis.com.au.
Did you know that the Reject Shop has your grocery essentials at Australia's cheapest prices? Including 500 gram Beyondia assorted pasta, only 50 cents each. For the cheapest snacks and groceries, it's got to be the Reject Shop, where we guarantee cheapest prices every day.
Living with a constant low-level noise can have serious impacts on sleep and well-being, but the brain can be taught to isolate the noise and ignore it. The Tinnitus Treatment phone app can help train your mind while you sleep. Developed in Adelaide by ENT specialist Dr. JC Hodge, studies show that 75% of patients hear an improvement in their tinnitus within the first 6 weeks of treatment. Search Tinnitus Treatment in your app store and sleep away tinnitus.
You can trust 9 News is live and local. Weeknights at 5, nightly at 6. 9 News.
Need a shed strong enough to resist the harsh Australian climate? Visit Olympic Industries, built to last. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
20 minutes after 7, Phil Currie coming up after 7:30. We're going to chat too with the South Australian Labor leader, Peter Malinowskis. He's got something to say about that extraordinary Andrew Huff article in the Advertiser from this morning that details some disagreement in the Transition Committee on the path out, and also the prospect of there being a 3-month grace period, a trial period.
The quote from a senior government official is, "All is not well in Camelot."
Yes.
And fascinating to know who that person is.
20 after 7. It was about an hour from now yesterday we started getting calls from listeners who had spied another Extinction Rebellion protest in the heart of Adelaide. It was similar to the one that came just a week or two prior where people were occupying some city streets, Victoria Square. It looked like a teepee was erected yesterday or some sort of structure. Ben Brooker from Extinction Rebellion gives us some insight into the motivations behind these things. Ben, good morning to you.
Good morning, David and Will.
So, Ben, what would you say when a lot of people right now, and we got texts along these lines yesterday, were saying, well, it feels like Australia's actually getting the message about climate change, and you can quibble about how long it's taken them to get there, but even the Morrison government seem to be recognising that it's an issue now. Why are you guys still pushing as hard as you are?
Well, unfortunately, we think that what we're hearing at the moment is a lot of greenwashing, and we're still not doing enough to combat the catastrophe that is coming. The deal that's just been struck between the coalition parties, which we still actually don't know very much about, is still completely inadequate to the task. The main game in the Glasgow Climate Conference that's coming up is going to be 2030 targets, not 2050. And as far as we know, 2030 targets are not involved in this deal. And all of the eyes of the world are going to be on Australia for having these targets, and I think we're going to be, frankly, an embarrassment to turn up to Glasgow without them.
So clearly
Rebellion,
then...
we've been saying for a long time in Extinction Rebellion that we need net zero emissions by 2025. 2050 is simply too late.
Yeah, so that was sort of leading to my next question, because it sounds like you are clearly, despite what some people in the mainstream might say, where it's like, oh, at least we're getting there. So if you are going to be sort of professionally unhappy, that is Extinction Rebellion, with anything coming out of the government at the moment, does this mean that the people of South Australia should brace themselves for more, bums and hands being glued to the road?
We're determined to keep doing what we have to do to keep this issue live, both in the minds of the public and in terms of the media. And unfortunately, we think that a 2050 target at this point is just more delay and denial and is not going to address the real problems that we're facing. And we acknowledge and are sorry for the disruption that we cause, but we also have to acknowledge that climate change is already causing mass destruction across food chains, across economic security, across job security, across our precious, irreplaceable ecosystems. So all of these things are happening all the time anyway. We may not be conscious of them from moment to moment, but we've got to understand that disruption is built into climate change that is already happening.
So is that your rationale that, look, you might think being stuck in traffic's bad, but try living underwater at Tennyson?
Well, that's a very succinct way of putting it, David. And yes, we do happen to think that. And those things are not always visible to people, obviously, on their morning commute, but they're happening all the time around us. And they're fueling really unpleasant things like global conflict, like bushfires. We're about to come into another bushfire season in Australia, which could be catastrophic again. These are all the things that we're scared about. And that's why we're out on the streets a couple of times in the last week.
Mm. Yeah, well, I still would argue the toss with you about whether it's shifting hearts and minds, because I think it's galvanising people against the cause. Do you ever worry about that side of it?
Of course we do. We're always questioning our tactics and our strategies. We take nothing for granted. But we also find that we get positive responses from motorists, and even motorists who feel temporarily inconvenienced. We know that often they will go away and think about why we're doing what we feel we have to do.
Ben Brooker from Extinction Rebellion, thanks for coming on this morning.
24 minutes after 7. Stephen Ray had a terrific interview with one of the giants of Australian sporting history last night. Secure your next vehicle now with an instant tax write-off before June 30 at North Point Toyota. Dawn Fraser was on the program, and she's got a new award named after her at the Sport Australia Hall of Fame, the Dawn Award. It has a nice ring to it, actually. The Dawn Award will recognise a courageous groundbreaker who has demonstrated achievement against the odds and challenged the status quo. This is Rowi's chat with Dawn.
Sports Australian Hall of Fame Heroes and Legends will go to air on Channel 7. That's December the 2nd. Joining us is the great Dawn Fraser, AC, MBE. We have the Dawn Award. Now we have the Dawn Award. Tell us about that. How good is this?
Well, when I get over the goosebumps, I can always talk about it. But, when John Bertram, he was the president of Sport Australia Hall of Fame, he rang me quite a few months ago and said, we want to do something I just want to put it past you. How do you feel about the Dawn Award? And I said, what? I said, I'll call you back. I said, you've made me too emotional, JB. I could call you back. I called him back in about 2.5 hours later, and I said, now, all right, I'm okay, I'm composed. Let's talk about it. And he went through all of these things, and he said, and I want to call it, he said, we've got the Dawn Award, but I want the Dawn Award for this. Beautiful. And I said, okay, thank you very much. I think it's absolutely fantastic, and I'm very honoured. And I think the whole of Australia will be extremely pleased and surprised at who the person is that wins this.
So you're going to have to keep that a secret till December the 2nd, Dawn. I don't think you can do that. I'm going to start prying now.
Everyone else has tried, but I can't.
No, you're right.
Does anyone instantly come to mind? So the category again, a courageous groundbreaker who demonstrated achievement against the odds and challenged the status quo.
It's a pretty lofty set of criteria,
It
isn't
really,
it?
because it goes beyond just sporting achievement, doesn't it? It's a sports person who's perhaps come from a marginalised group. So maybe it's a Paddy Mills type, maybe, for the work he's done with Aboriginal communities.
Eddie Betts.
Eddie Betts could be.
Is it international as well?
No, it's Australian Sports Australia Hall of Fame.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
so it'll be an Australian. I just wonder if there's someone recent that comes to our listeners' minds. 8223 They've decided it, so it's already happened.
Rick
Dawn's
Davies.
got to keep
I mentioned Rick Davies before. Maybe throw him into the mix again.
Do you think? You think Rick Davies is getting one? He was just waiting for the Dawn Award to be announced for a further recognition.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
You would give Rick Davies every award that was out
Pulitzer
there.
Prize.
Exactly right.
Nobel Peace Prize.
It's 27
Gold Walkley. An Oscar. You name it.
More from Rowie tonight. Secure your next vehicle now with an instant tax write-off before June 30 at North Point Toad. If you've got a thought on who the Dawn Award might be, I'm interested in hearing people's theories too. Send us a text on the Telstra Store Mount Barker text line.
It's me, Santa. 2021 has been a tough year, and I'd like to wish every South Australian a very Merry Christmas. Except Stephen Marshall, who is once again being a Grinch. This year, he's making South Australia the only Australian state where Christmas Day isn't a public holiday. So thousands of South Australian workers will not receive public holiday penalty rates for working on Christmas Day. I'll be skipping your house, Stephen Marshall.
Authorised Josh Peak, SDA Union, Kent Town.
It may not be that exciting to learn that Playford Pavers are one of the few companies that still make their own pavers on site. Riveting, isn't it? But what if I told you that because Playford Pavers make their own pavers for driveways, entertaining areas and pathways, you pay a lot less? How good is that? Pay less at Playford Pavers. Visit playfordpavers.com.au.
Let's talk about extra time. Extra time because I don't have to maintain a garden. Extra time because I don't have costly home repairs. Every ECH Encore apartment at Mulberry comes with time. Time to enjoy retirement. Time to enjoy the on-site cafe, gym and community garden. So spend time in our new on-site display suite. Book an appointment today. Time for an encore? Time to live more life. Visit echencore.com.au.
You possibly won't find Australia's largest range of rollers, spare parts and accessories for sliding doors and windows at your local hardware store. I mean, I guess you could try, but nah. Instead of wasting time, how about you save time? Visit rollerco.com.au because spare parts for sliding doors and windows is what we do. Our warehouse is full of them. rollerco.com.au. We'll get you rolling.
As an iconic Australian real estate brand, at LJ Hooker we deliver exceptional experiences. And here in South Australia, to maintain our reputation of high-performing agents, we provide industry-leading training. So when you know you need better advice, when you know you need better service, when you know you need better results, you know who you can trust. LJ Hooker. When you know, you know. Visit ljhooker.com.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Sunny and 30 today with the 7:30 news. I'm Mel Usher.
Had a bingle driving to work? Contact premierpanel.com.au. RAA approved crash repairer.
A 31-year-old man has been killed after his car slammed into a Stobie pole at Seaton. Senior Constable Kylie Simpson says it happened on Tapleys Hill Road last night near the Trimmer Parade intersection.
So the actual impact of the crash brought down power lines and hit a water meter as well. So SA Power Networks and SA Water attended.
Major crash is investigating. Passengers on a Qantas flight from Perth to Adelaide last night are still in WA. The plane was diverted to Kalgoorlie after the pilot was alerted to an issue with the fuel system. Passengers will be put on a replacement flight to Adelaide today. Listener Mouse was on the plane and he knew something wasn't quite right.
We were about just past Esperance, and I said to the bloke next to me, and I said to the air hostesses, it's really, really hot here. We were sitting next to that engine, and all of a sudden the engine just stopped. We could tell the temperature just go down inside the cabin very quickly, and we just thought, oh, something's wrong here.
The State Transition Committee will meet today with our yet-to-be-released roadmap out of the pandemic high on the agenda. Authorities are waiting on a detailed modelling from the Doherty Institute before announcing the plan. Transition Committee Chair Nick Reid says other states have made the details public, but it's not one size fits all.
We're looking at very different analysis as well, because we're opening up borders. We're going to bring COVID into South Australia. It's highly likely that it would come in with borders coming down. So we're looking at perhaps our wave of COVID coming, whereas other states have already had theirs.
The state government's unveiled a $7 million support package for the arts and live music sectors. Skills Minister David Pisoni says they've been hit hard by COVID restrictions in SA.
So we're announcing, particularly for the live music industry, grants of up to $300,000 for eligible dedicated live music venues. They can demonstrate a decline in their income, and up to $50,000 for eligible South Australian-based professional touring contemporary music artists and their crew.
Labor says the federal government has had more positions on climate change than the Kama Sutra. Cabinet reached an agreement overnight to achieve a net zero emissions target by 2050. There'll be more funding for clean energy projects and a review for regional Australia every 5 years. The opposition's Bill Shorten has told Nine the coalition is hopelessly divided on the issue.
The ritual conflict between the Liberals and the Nationals is all a bit of a kabuki play. They're just going through the motions. Barnaby was always going to do a deal. I think, though, the difficulty is that the coalition's now had more positions on climate change than that famous Indian picture book.
The parents of missing 4-year-old Cleo Smith say it's been difficult returning to their Western Australian hometown of Carnarvon without their little girl. Police believe the child was abducted from the family's 11 days ago. Detectives are now trying to find the driver of a vehicle that was last seen leaving the campsite hours before her disappearance. Cleo's mother Ellie has told Channel 7 she felt sick the moment she realised her daughter was gone.
How did someone come into that tent and take Cleo? How could someone feel that they could do that to someone? How could someone take a child?
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Save up to 15% on selected Asco cooking appliances at Adelaide Appliance Gallery, home of Mr Dishwasher.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Mel. The Victorian Premier says it's not too much to ask tennis players heading to the Australian Open to be vaccinated, as confusion reigns as to whether the unvaccinated will be able to play. Nine's Christina Hearn reports.
Last week, the federal government said the borders would only be open to the fully vaccinated. But a leaked email from the Women's Tennis Association says unvaccinated players would be allowed to compete at the Australian Open as long as they did 2 weeks of hotel quarantine. Who comes into the country is a decision for the Commonwealth, but it's up to the Victorian government who's allowed in to Melbourne Park. The Premier says if all spectators and workers have to be double vaxxed, then it stands to reason the players are as well. World number 1 Novak Djokovic refuses to declare his vaccination status, saying it's an inappropriate inquiry.
Let's go to cricket, and Sean Marsh credits his passion for the game as the reason for his superb recent form. The 38-year-old smashed an unbeaten 80 off 63 balls, handing WA a 6-wicket win over South Australia in their one-day clash.
I'm still loving the game, and I love being up in the change rooms with these guys. So, yeah, it's nice to get a few runs. Looking forward to getting out there in the Shield game in a few days' time now.
The Redbacks will now turn their attention to their Sheffield Shield clash against WA, which begins tomorrow. Meantime, English all-rounder Ben Stokes has been added to the Ashes squad after recovering from physical and mental issues. And in some tennis to finish, Alexei Popyrin has dropped the first set in a tiebreaker. That's against number 3 seed Matteo Berrettini at the Vienna Open. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Do you have an existing BMW service inclusive package? You can book your next service at Glenelg BMW.
At Carrota Park, got a 2-car accident on Anzac Highway just near South Road. It's as you're heading into the city, causing a few delays this morning. At Seaton, got urgent electrical works, Tapley's Hill Road near Trimmer Parade after a serious accident last night. Got 1 lane closed southbound. And Crafers on the freeway, speeds reduced there for works. Plus, we've got a right-hand lane closed citybound. That's actually in the tunnels. That'll get pretty busy throughout the morning too. OTR's got your summer sorted with their Sea Coffee iced range. Delicious iced coffee, iced chocolate and the new iced matcha. Order your favourite today at OTR. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Head to Foodland, Drake's or IGA for Nutrimate, a new dog roll loaded with healthy nutrients.
30 today and sunny, a shower or two developing tomorrow. 30, Thursday showers increasing down to 27. Right now it's 17 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Need a shed strong enough to resist the harsh Australian climate? Visit Olympic Industries, built to last. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
23 minutes to 8. Few suggestions coming through for the inaugural winner of the Dawn Award, the award named after Dawn Fraser at the Sport Hall of Fame. A lot of people have been saying Dylan Alcott, and I think that's a pretty strong suggestion when you consider the criteria of the award and the work he does, not just being an advocate and being a pretty exceptional sports person, but the charity work he does away from sport as well. And also Sam Kerr has received a bit of nomination interest from our listeners as well on the Telstra Storm Out Barker text line 0448 08 1395. We're going to chat with Peter Malinowskis shortly. Lots of feedback to Andrew Huff's piece in the Tiser this morning that continues to come through that flags there might be a 3-month grace period effectively where borders are open. We've hit 80%, but a lot of other things don't change in South Australia for fear of the hospital system being overwhelmed, or rather I think there's some sort of quaint euphemistic phrasing that suggests we just want to, give it time to adjust.
Yeah.
Just see how it goes.
A lot of feeling too on the Telstra Storm Out Barker text line about our interview with Ben Brooker from Extinction Rebellion. Some people are saying, why would you even give these people airtime? Well, look, in an open democracy like ours, we as a general rule don't only interview people that we already agree with. I would say that. But a lot of comments like this. Peter, what a dill. This guy's an embarrassment. Ask him what research there is that will show how much the temperature will be reduced by if the billions of dollars are spent on this supposed climate change. And one here saying, if these so-called climate activists are so concerned about the climate, why are they causing massive traffic delays? Would surely cause massive CO2 emissions from all the cars being stuck in town. That's a fair point.
Yeah. Yeah, I really struggle with the whole thing, frankly.
Yeah, I noticed you were quiet
The
during
less
that
said,
interview.
Sometimes ringing in your head's that old adage about if you've got nothing nice to say, just say nothing at all. It came to me in that moment. Phil Currie from the Fin Review joins us on 5AA Breakfast. Morning to you, Phil.
Good morning, fellas.
That's a natural lead into our key topic of discussion, Phil, the zero emissions target. Is this? Tell us about the deal between the Nats and the Libs. Why is this some secrecy around it?
Oh, well, we'll know the full details in a few hours after it gets ticked off by a meeting of Liberal and National MPs this morning. The Cabinet signed it off last night. I think it was just because there was a negotiation that went for a week between the Nationals and Liberals, and they don't like to negotiate in public, obviously. So, but a fair bit of it sort of started to seep out, or at least the sort of basic elements of it. But always with the Nationals, it involves money or something or a payoff. So look, there's a bunch of stuff in it, David. We were expecting stuff like infrastructure. We're expecting a lot of it, not a lot of it sort of money. A lot of it sort of reassurances that farmers won't have lose property rights and things like that, and future governments won't be able to use legislative changes to allow them to do things like clear land and offset that with other ways, and how they can make money out of this by carbon farming, burying carbon in their soil or revegetating land and then getting paid for that, and then getting sort of preferential tax treatment for those payments. So there's a whole bunch of stuff. There will be a fair bit of money involved, but we'll know at about 11 or 12 o'clock the full details. But essentially, it's at its core, it's to safeguard regional Australia from any negative effects should there be any of this transition.
So you're going to Glasgow with the Prime Minister, Phil. Do you think
I can go to Glasgow? I can't go to Adelaide.
Mate, I'll tell you what. Read page 4 of today's Tiser. You might not be able to come to Adelaide till next March.
Yeah, sounds like it. Yeah.
Anyway,
sorry.
Has ScoMo done enough? We do digress. We often digress. Has ScoMo done enough to avoid an international embarrassment? Do you think?
Yeah, well, it depends who. That's a subjective sort of assessment. But I noticed Boris Johnson this morning, or overnight our time, was sort of praising the 2050 commitment that he finally landed on Sunday as a significant achievement. Look, in the eyes of the purists, no, he hasn't, because the Glasgow is actually more about what we do in 2030, not what we do by 2050. Now, we've got a target for 2030 to reduce our emissions by 26 to 28% on what they were in 2005, and everyone says that's pretty poor. Everyone in the world's now got targets around 40 and 50 by 2030. Now, the Prime Minister today will release a projection which will show we'll beat that 26 to 28% easily. We'll probably land at about 35. but he's not going to adopt that as an official target, even though we'll get there anyway. Now, that's all bound up in internal politics, why he's not going to do that. Look, he's not going to mind too much because he's going to go to Glasgow saying, look, we're going to do better in 2030 than we thought, and unlike a lot of other countries, we're actually going to achieve it. You know, a lot of countries make these big statements, but they never get close to achieving it. Like Canada, for example, claim they're going to do 45% by 2035. They've done 1% so far. You know, they're just not going to get there. So the PM's not too fussed about what gets said about us in Glasgow. What really matters is how it comes back home. You've got an election in a few months, and this is already, you know, fairly causing them problems out in the regions. The other thing too is the whole summit is on the brink of looking like a big failure. The Russians aren't going and the Chinese aren't going. They're two of the world's 4 biggest polluters. The Indians haven't made up their mind, and they're in the top 4 as well. So I think at this stage, Boris Johnson, for this thing, he'll want his summit to be seen as a success. So he'll talk up anything new someone brings to the table. So hence he's sort of praising Australia's net zero by 2050 thing as some sort of achievement. So it will be in Boris Johnson's interest to spin this thing in his favour. So I don't think we're going to get too much heat from other nations. I mean, Joe Biden, for example, he's the one who's been putting all the pressure on countries to, you know, really step up, including America, because they did nothing under Trump, you know, and do something significant by 2030. And he's got this massive energy, and he can't get it, energy policy, and he can't get it through his Congress because sort of the equivalent of Joel Fitzgibbon in the Democrats, you know, so a West Virginia senator's not going to pass it. So Biden sort of talked a big game and has pressured all these other allies to do something, and he's taking 13 cabinet ministers and Barack Obama with him to Glasgow, and he's on the verge of going there with a big fat zero, you know, the box of donuts in terms of achievement. So I don't think Morrison's too fussed, to be honest, where we sit. Yeah, we're going to get attacked by climate activists and stuff like that, but, you know, he's got to balance that with, you know, what's going on in Queensland, and they're filthy enough about the net zero thing, even though it doesn't really cost them anything.
Yeah, for sure. Great stuff, Phil. Thanks for that, mate.
Phil Currie from the Australian Financial Review. We'll continue that conversation after 8:30 when Anthony Albanese joins us on 5AA Breakfast. But right now, I want to revisit what has been the hottest topic of discussion in South Australia this morning, certainly on the text line. We've had so many we haven't been able to read them all out. And they all pertain to a story written by Andrew Huff in the Tiser this morning that details significant tensions between members of the Transition Committee. He's quoting senior government sources that say the roadmap has yet to be finalised. And concerningly, and this is the thing that people have really honed in on, they're talking about things like a buffer zone of up to 3 months of marginal changes after borders lift, allowing SA Health to monitor how hospitals were coping with COVID. It's a caveat that seems to appease no one, because on the text line we're getting people saying, well, we shouldn't be opening up at all till 90%, and others saying this is just ludicrous. Peter Malinowskis is the leader of the Labor Party in South Australia and joins us now. Peter Malinowskis, what was your reaction to reading this morning?
Morning, Dave. Look, pretty concerning, I've got to say, Will, because I think it's the first time that we've seen in print or an admission that our health system in South Australia is just not ready. The very fact that the Transition Committee is actively considering the option of a buffer zone for a period of 3 months, I think demonstrates to every last South Australian what we've always feared. And that is, with record ramping at the highest levels we've ever seen in the history of the state, our emergency departments overflowing, that our health system is just not ready to be able to deal with cases of COVID.
But are you saying, though, then, Peter, that if these concerns about our health system are that pronounced, that South Australia should have a 3-month buffer zone and that we should keep restrictions in place?
Well, presumably what the Transition Committee is trying to grapple with is the prospect of people contracting COVID, then needing to be hospitalised, and we don't want them to die. I mean, that's the presumably what they're trying to balance up, is opening up versus people's health. Now, the only reason why that would be a risk is if we don't have the hospital capacity to be able to deal with the cases that are going to come our way. I think most rational and most South Australians expect that at some point or another we are going to have to live with COVID. Some might like a higher vaccination rate than others, but nonetheless, this is going to have to happen. And when that happens, we need a health system that is ready.
Couldn't it also reflect, though, that SA Health has just become professionally paranoid about anything resembling a risk?
Well, SA Health want to make sure that people don't die where it can be avoided. And that means you've got to have a hospital system that is ready. See, everything comes back to the preparedness of our hospital. And here's the thing, Dave. We've known for 20 months that this day was going to come. For 20 months, we've had a strategy of flattening the curve and pushing out the peak with all but one objective, and that is to get our health system ready. We've had virtually zero COVID, virtually zero flu, and we've still got record ramping. Now, I'm concerned that during the course of the last 12 months, last 18 months, Stephen Marshall closed 188 beds that were specifically put in place to deal with COVID at the Wakefield Hospital and College Grove. But that doesn't speak to getting our system up to scratch and ready. And if we had the hospital preparedness in place, then presumably the Transition Committee would be comfortable to put out in the public a roadmap in the same way that Queensland have, in the same way that Tasmania have, and both those jurisdictions are almost in the exact same position that we are today.
3-month buffer zone's intriguing timing because it would almost take us up to the state election. Does any part of you wonder if it might be politically motivated?
Look, I really hope not, Will. I really hope not, Will, because you've heard it, I've heard it. When you're out there talking to businesses and workers who are in those frontline industries paying the biggest price to keep us all safe, the ones that are sacrificing their labour, their capital, and suffering restrictions, when you speak to these people, they have paid way too big a sacrifice in the name of so many for politics to be a variable in the consideration of either the Transition Committee or anybody else for that matter. So I really hope not. I don't want to, my job as leader of the opposition is to be cynical, but I've never been one to be that cynical or conspiratorial. I've provided bipartisan support to the government all the way through this. But the one thing I won't abide is Stephen Marshall neglecting his duty to get our health system ready, because he's had one job, fellas. Nicola Spurrier has developed the health advice. Grant Stevens has been the one trying to perform the balancing act, weighing up health advice versus the economic situation. But Stephen Marshall's one job was to get our health system ready, and he's had 20 months to do it. And what we've seen is 188 beds closed that we'll put in place for COVID. So, we aren't going to give the government a free pass on the preparedness of our health system, because it is the thing that is going to define when we open up, how we open up, who we open up to, but most importantly, whether or not people are going to get back to work in the way they desperately hope.
Peter Malinowskis, the opposition leader, thanks for joining us this morning on 5AA. We're going to try to talk to the Premier within the next day or so about this, because I don't know, I feel like sort of large chicken has come home to roost with the fact that he has no direct involvement with the Transition Committee, and it sort of feels almost rudderless.
Well, we said at 6:05 this morning, or whenever we first started talking about this, suddenly this has political ramifications for Stephen Marshall, because the obvious play was for Peter Malinowskis to say this is a sign of a health system that has been neglected. And look what he's done. He literally has it's played out that way. So it's impossible to hide behind a Transition Committee now, because, as Peter Malinowskis has said, this is your part. This was your responsibility. Of the whole COVID deal was making sure this stuff is ready to go.
But is Labor just backing SA Health's overly cautious advice on the basis that it lets them score a political shot against the quality of the public hospital system?
You know what the frustrating thing is? We'll never know, because no one ever shows us the working out. We never get to see the numbers. We never get to see the plan. We never get to see the science that underpins the decisions. There's always this. But
the default position seems to be that Peter Malinowskis is saying, well, if a 3-month buffer zone is what it takes, then so be it. I mean, he didn't quite say it, but when I put it to him, that's a logically valid conclusion that you can draw.
Sure, absolutely.
So you've got an alternative Premier that's going to go along with it, if that's the position.
Can I just put one?
You've got a Premier who, I don't know, you just sit these things out.
Well, there's
I feel like the only thing that stands between us and full-blown insanity in this state is the police commissioner.
Yeah. There's one reality that we have to consider that we all hope isn't true. What if SA Health's right? What if our system can't cope? And I think we as a public deserve to know the hard numbers about that, about what reopening means and what it looks like. You've seen them in other roadmaps. Because right now, this report has damaged people's faith in the health system. It's damaged our faith in the health system to deal with the inevitable surge that's about to come.
Yeah. But the thing is, what I struggle to disentangle is other things along the way, such as the magical pizza box and the don't touch the football.
And show us the numbers then.
COVID-safe trick or treat.
Show us the numbers.
Which makes me think, we've got this sort of Chicken Little mentality within SA Health where
we can get rid of all that by just saying, show us the numbers.
Yeah, well, exactly.
How many cases, how many beds, at what percentage of vaccinated, all the kind of stuff we've seen in other states.
Yeah.
We need to see how the sausage is made this time, I think, because there are real questions being raised by this Division on Transition Committee.
Yeah.
8 to 8, let's check traffic thanks to Glenelg BMW. If you've got an existing BMW service inclusive package, you can book your next service at Glenelg BMW.
At Carrata Park this morning, got an accident on Anzac Highway, just near South Road as you're heading into the city, causing a few delays. At Seaton, urgent electrical works, Tapley's Hill Road near Trimmer Parade after a nasty accident last night. Got a lane closed southbound, and also on the freeway, the right-hand lane closed on the down track. That's actually in the tunnels. Look out for cameras today, Holbrooks Road, Flinders Park, and Lipset Terrace at Brooklyn Park. Heading bush these holidays, Petter's Track Rider four-wheel drive products offer a total undercar solution, perfect for towing and load carrying. Petter's, the four-wheel drive undercar experts. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Exis. EXIIS. You'll find Exis at work in restaurants, pubs, supermarkets, universities, aged care homes, hospitals, councils, wineries and defence. So, what do the Exis team do? Pretty much everything that others don't want to do. The grunt and grime work, the difficult and dirty cleaning jobs. High risk, high levels, confined spaces. No matter what industry you're in, you can count on Exis to keep it clean and hygienic. Exis.com.au.
Right now it's mates time at Toyota Material Handling with their Ultimate year-end event. Choose from their massive range of market-leading Toyota forklifts, plus warehouse sweepers and scrubbers, lift platforms, skid steers and more. You need it, Toyota Material Handling has it. And purchase any new product for the chance to win one of 2 Hilux Workmate utes, valued at over $40,000. For the ultimate year-end event, check out toyotamaterialhandling.com.au. T's and C's apply. Ends December 31. SA licence number T21/1273.
My favourite thing to do at St Andrew's School is reading. I love coming to school and getting to try new things like viola. I love coming to St Andrew's School because I can make new friends.
My school is all these things and more. It's what makes it one of South Australia's leading primary schools. Hi, I'm Serafina, School Captain at St Andrews. Book your place on one of our school tours this Thursday at 6 p.m. or Saturday at 10 a.m. Just Google St Andrews School.
Don't just get any old mattress and cross your fingers. There's only one award-winning Sleeping Duck mattress that Australia loves and comes with a system to get the comfort perfect for you in your very own home. Get it perfect at sleepingduck.com.
At Lend-Lease Retirement Living, we create places to live well. And with 4 locations in South Australia, the perfect choice could be just around the corner. Join us for a tour and discover a welcoming community, perfectly located near everything you'll need. Make friends, have fun, and embrace a joyful retirement. With a choice of homes and ways to pay, there's never been a better time to belong. Search Lend-Lease Retirement Living South Australia. Your place to live well.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube. Need more living space or storage? Visit olympicindustries.com.au. Olympic Industries, built to last. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
5 to 8, let's talk weather. Geez, it looks like it's going to be a magnificent day with the sun streaming in over the hills right through to where we're sitting here in Highmarsh Square. Jessica Braithwaite has the details for us from 9 News. Jessica, good morning. Actually, before we get to that, are you number 1 in the country right now with your song? What's happening?
Guys, I can't believe it. Since I came in and spoke to you about my song a few days ago, there's a couple of charts and I'm number 1 on both of them.
Fantastic.
Well, there you go. That's the 5AA audience getting behind you, Jessica.
Yeah.
The riding the 5AA wave to commercial success.
The road to stardom runs through the 5AA Breakfast studio, Jess. We've always said that.
Yeah, you heard it first. You heard it first at 5AA.
That's right.
Congratulations to you. Great to hear. I looked at the list that you tweeted of all the artists, and these are some of the biggest names in music in Australia at the moment.
I know, it's so weird, and they're all on major record labels and things, and then there's my name there, and I'm just like, hey, it's me.
Jess with her trusty tape deck out in the back room.
Well, while we've still got you doing weather, then Well, we might as well get that because it might be a collector's item before long.
No, not at all. I love my weather, and I love the weather today. It's beautiful, 30 degrees, sunny skies. It's one of those days where you just have a little spring in your step, I think. There's not a drop of rain in sight, but that does change tomorrow. Tomorrow's one of those weird days where... so we've got 30 degrees on the forecast, but whether or not we get there will depend on when this change comes in, because there's a bit of a weird low and a front coming in. So I think you'll probably notice, during the day that cloud will be thickening up, some showers developing during the afternoon. It'll start to get windy, maybe even a thunderstorm. So definitely a bit of a mixed up kind of a day. Still warm on Thursday. We've got 27 degrees on the way there, some showers increasing throughout the day there. And then on Friday we really feel the proper effects of that change coming through in terms of the temperature drop. So it's like a 10-degree temperature drop back down to 18 degrees, and cooler nights as well. So I'm afraid it is looking a bit cooler for the weekend. So Saturday we've got 17 degrees, just a chance of a leftover shower there. But Sunday looks absolutely lovely, 20 degrees, sunny skies, and we're kicking off next week on Monday with 27 degrees too. So that'll be lovely.
Sensational.
Good on you, Jessica. Jessica Braithwaite from 9 News. It's a couple of minutes to 8 o'clock and time for John Blake, thanks to Aussie Fast Transport Solutions, interstate freight distribution, warehousing and local Adelaide couriers. Call Aussie Fast, 13 13 64.
So what's on today, honey?
We've got a visitor, remember?
Oh, yeah, what's that for?
Corey's coming over.
Oh, our friend Corey.
Yeah, he's great, isn't he?
He sure is. He's doing his best for all of us.
That's for sure. Oh, that'll be Corey now.
Hi, Jenny.
Hi, Corey. Come in.
Thanks.
G'day, Jeff.
G'day, Corey. What's going on?
Well, I wanted to come over and tell you about the exciting new project the government's undertaking.
Oh, yeah? What is it?
Well, it's called the Torrens to Darlington project.
Oh, yeah, I've heard about that.
Yeah, that's right. It's part of the North-South corridor.
Oh, great.
Oh, great. Yeah, that'll make it so much easier for people like us to travel into the city or onto Gawler. That's right, Jenny. The only thing is, there's something we have to do to make all this possible. And it's to do with your house.
Oh, what's that, Corey?
Would you like a cup of coffee, Corey? Oh, I love one. Thanks, Jenny. Okay. Yeah, you and Jenny could really help us out here, Jeff.
Well, we're willing to do whatever it is to help you out, Corey.
Oh, that's great. I really appreciate it.
So what is this thing you have to do to make all this possible?
Well, what we're going to have to do...
What's that noise?
...is... Oh, don't worry about that too much. Look, because your house happens to be right in line with the North-South corridor, this means that we're going to have to demolish your house to make room so that we can get through. And so you'll have to out of your house for the greater good of everybody.
Oh, that sounds great.
Sorry about this, Corey. Your coffee's got a little bit of brick dust in it. Oh, no problem. I'm sure it'll be lovely. Well, up your skirt. Yes, up yours too, Corey.
Up yours, Corey.
More from John Blake coming up after 8:30 when we go behind closed doors.
Greyhound Racing SA could be shouting you dinner. All you need is 3 greyhounds from Box 8 to win. Book a group of 4 or more for dinner for the Angle Park 8's promotion at the Angle Park Greyhounds on a Thursday night, and if 3 dogs wearing number 8 win on the night, you have the entire value of your booking refunded. That's right, free. Some T's and C's apply. Bookings must be made by 11 a.m. the Monday prior. Gamble responsibly. Visit chasers.net.au for more.
You can trust 9 News is live and local. Weeknights at 5, nightly at 6. 9 News.
Online, on DAB Digital Radio and on 1395 AM. Talking Adelaide. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Sunny and 30 today with the 8 o'clock news. I'm Mel Usher.
Had a bingle driving to work? Contact Premier Panel Services at premierpanel.com.au.
A man from the western suburbs has been killed in an horrific crash at Seaton, which left his vehicle unrecognisable. It happened on Tapley's Hill Road just before 7 last night. The vehicle lost its engine and wheels, blacking out the immediate area and hitting a water meter. Senior Constable Kylie Simpson says the 31-year-old driver was the sole occupant.
Sadly, the man's death is the 81st life lost on SA roads this year compared to 71 at the same time last year.
Passengers on a Qantas flight from Perth to Adelaide last night ended up in Kalgoorlie. The pilot was alerted to an issue with the fuel system and landed in the mining town instead. Passengers were then taken back to Perth and will fly on here today. Listener Mouse says he knew something was wrong when the temperature in the cabin spiked.
I kept saying to the air hostess, I need water because it was very, very hot in here. And I thought it was the air conditioner, but it actually wasn't. And I knew, I flying enough to know that there was something going on there. So then the pilot just said the left-hand engine has just stopped dead. We've only got one engine. We're turning towards Kalgoorlie to get back.
SA's COVID restrictions will be reviewed when the Transition Committee meets today. The government has flagged a roadmap out of the pandemic, saying it's imminent, with vaccination rates the key to restrictions easing. 79% of South Australians have received their first dose of a vaccine. 63% are fully vaccinated. Live music venues, performers and artists across SA will share in a $7 million support package. Skills Minister David Pisoni says it'll ensure they're ready for when COVID restrictions ease.
So this is about kickstarting the music industry here in South Australia, ensuring that South Australians who are itching to get out to see live events, whether that be in the arts or whether it be in the live music sector, have the ability to do that because the companies have provided us support to return to the industry.
More countries are being added to Australia's post-COVID destination list. Nine's Jessica Millwood reports.
Great news for Australians who love travelling to Bali. The federal government is currently in discussions with Indonesia about a travel bubble. At the moment, Qantas have flights scheduled from March, but they could be brought forward if a decision is made sooner. Japan and South Korea are also next on the travel list for Australians. Arrangements with Singapore are being finalised this week. And good news also, if you like cruising, it is expected that a ban on cruise ships will be lifted on December 17.
Icehouse will perform at Adelaide Oval's Village Green as part of next year's festival. The band will be celebrating the 40th anniversary of their signature song, Great Southern Land. The announcement comes ahead of the full program for the 2022 Adelaide Festival being released today. A Facebook whistleblower has told British MPs the social media giant is making hate worse. Nine's UK correspondent Brett McLeod reports.
Inside Westminster, former Facebook employee Frances Horgan warned MPs riots, such as those at the US Capitol in January, may be a prelude of worse to come if social media isn't regulated. The data scientist turned whistleblower told the Parliamentary Committee Facebook algorithms are pushing ordinary people to radical fringes, saying Facebook didn't invent hate, but unquestionably it's making hate worse. And she said senior executives, including Mark Zuckerberg, break the company's own moderation rules to allow politicians and celebrities to post contentious content.
Dean Jones' love child is suing the cricket legend's widow for a slice of his fortune. 12-year-old Kobe has launched Supreme Court action against Jane Jones. Documents reveal the value of the estate is yet to be determined. Now turning to FIVEaa Sport.
Save up to $800 on selected ASCO washer dryer packages. Adelaide Appliance Gallery, home of Mr Dishwasher.
And we're counting down to the Ashes, Tom Wren.
Looking forward to it, Mel, and it's just been given a major boost too because star all-rounder Ben Stokes is ruling himself in for England after recovering from finger surgery. Former Australian wicketkeeper Brad Haddon telling Fox Sports it will add some extra spice to the series.
And the theatre begins. This is what you want. You want the best players playing the Ashes series. But the one thing Ben Stokes does, not just his presence on the field with the bat and ball, but he makes guys around him better players. And that's what I'm excited about. This England team now will grow a leg.
One game at the T20 World Cup overnight with Afghanistan crushing Scotland by 130 runs. Adelaide strikers all-rounder Rashid Khan with a dominant display taking 4 for 9. And the Redbacks will recover this morning after suffering a 6-wicket loss against WA in their one-day clash at the Wacky yesterday. The two sides will meet again in a Shield match starting tomorrow. Well, there's still no word from Tennis Australia over whether unvaccinated players will be permitted entry into the Australian Open in January. Ultimately, the federal government will have the final say over whether they're even allowed into the country. Meantime, there's plenty of on-court action with Aussie Isla Tomljanovic through to the round of 16 at the Transylvania Open after a hard-fought 3-set win against Anastasia Potapova. James Duckworth and Mark Polmans have been beaten at the St Petersburg Open, while there were mixed results at the Vienna Open with Alex de Minaur recording a 3-set win, but Alexei Popyrin has just lost in straight sets to number 3 seed Italian Matteo Berrettini. Well, one of the fancied runners for the Melbourne Cup, the Danny O'Brien trained at Young Werther, has been scratched from the race after failing a vet test. And the New Orleans Saints will come up against the Seattle Seahawks as Week 7 of the NFL season comes to a close. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Glenelg BMW is now open on Brighton Road. Book a test drive today.
At Carrota Park, got an accident on Anzac Highway near South Road as you're heading into the city, causing some delays there. Seaton, urgent electrical works, that's on Tapley's Hill Road near Trimmer Parade. It's after a nasty accident last night. Got a lane closed southbound. And look out for cameras, Adelaide Road, Gawler South, Galway Avenue, Broadview, and Great Terrace at Rosewater. The quality of air we breathe can really impact our health. Dakin's Streamer technology removes 99.6% of allergens and pollutants. Dakin Air Conditioning, perfecting the air. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Head to Foodland, Drake's or IGA for Nutrimate, a new dog roll loaded with healthy nutrients.
30 and sunny today, a shower or two developing tomorrow 30, then down to 27 with showers increasing Thursday. Right now it's 18 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
No one likes to wait, especially if you're waiting for something really amazing, like a new Mazda. Lucky, you won't have to wait too long at Mawson Lakes Mazda. Right now, you'll find new stock and demos right across the range, which means there's no compromise. You'll get everything you want and love in your new Mazda. Get behind the wheel of your dream Mazda sooner. Mawson Lakes Mazda, just a short drive from the city.
With more than 30,000 prizes to be won, the St John Christmas Home and Lifestyle Lottery is South Australia's biggest ever home lottery. There's still 5 homes to be won, including the luxurious $4 million grand prize home package in Walkerville. Buy your ticket before midnight this Sunday for your chance to win one of 9 watercraft in next week's draw, including jet skis, ski boats and offshore fishing boats. Buy your tickets at stjohnlottery.com.au and support St John SA today. Licence number M14082.
To stand the test of time, you need to be tough, made of the good stuff. You need style and tons of character, just like a Playford paver. Playford Pavers, one of the few companies that still make their own pavers for driveways, outdoor entertaining areas or paths, in a great range of colours and textures. And because Playford Pavers make their own, you'll always pay less. Visit playfordpavers.com.au. playfordpavers.com.au.
Need more living space or storage? Visit olympicindustries.com.au. Olympic Industries, built to last. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
9 minutes after 8, we're giving away $1 million cash in probably about 15 minutes' time. If you bought a ticket in the Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery and are eligible for the early bird draw, well, this is the morning for you. Make sure your phone's on. Get it charged if you're listening right now and it's starting to run flat, plug it into the wall.
Yes,
because this
that.
is a $1 million phone call, and if you miss it, well, that would be a disaster, wouldn't it?
It
All
would.
because you didn't
It
plug your
would.
phone in.
You wouldn't want to know that you'd missed it, would you?
Well, here's the other thing. How do you explain that to your loved ones?
Yes, exactly.
Your spouse. Could
Yeah.
you imagine?
Yeah.
Look at that $1 million. Funny thing. You don't want to have that conversation.
No.
So plug it in and we'll be giving it away very, very shortly. But right now, it's time for Breaking It Home.
I spent some time last week with the people who run some of our excellent arts and live entertainment venues here in Adelaide. Tam Boakes, who runs Jive, and the guys who run the Lion Arts Factory. These are venues that not only have stood on their own 2 feet as independent operations for many years, they've also played a hugely important role at fringe and festival time, because they operate not just as band venues outside of Mad March, but also as performance spaces that are used by visiting performers here during our beloved festivals. Well, needless to say, these places have been absolutely smashed by COVID. And to use a line from Gideon Hagan, the Australian, last week, one of the really galling things about the pandemic and the lockdowns is that it's turned independent people into mendicants. You know, people who've always been out there taking risks, doing things themselves, have suddenly had no choice but to say, hang on a minute, if the government's going to put all of these restrictions in place, or SA Health, or, you know, whoever has the ultimate power, we're the ones who are losing our entire business model as a result, and we have every right to turn around and say, what sort of compensation are we going to be able to get so that we can come out of this at the other side. There's been a lot of criticism of the Marshall government over the extent of the support that it has provided to the arts and music scene. Well, there's some good news today. Aside from the extra $1.4 million that Stephen Marshall has outlined for the Adelaide Fringe, there's also a live music support package, and that's going to provide up to $300,000 for eligible dedicated live music venues and music industry event promoters if they can demonstrate a decline in income compared to pre-COVID-19. Well, they're going to have no trouble demonstrating that they have had a decline in income. Some of these places, without being alarmist or beating this up at all, are genuinely teetering on the brink of bankruptcy. So good news from the Marshall government. Hopefully the money that's provided in this $7 million package is going to go some way and some significant way towards saving these venues and saving local music and arts jobs.
12 after 8, let's wrap some of the stories that have been developing over the course of the morning and start with a particularly concerning one that took place last night. A Qantas flight from Perth to Adelaide was forced to divert to Kalgoorlie due to a reported fuel issue. Mouse was on board the flight and joins us from Perth this morning. Mouse, good morning to you.
G'day, how you going?
Good, mate.
Good, thanks,
so
mate.
just take us through. You've taken off from Perth, you're heading over here to Adelaide, and what happens?
What happened with me was a bloke called Mustafa from Flinders Park, LJ Hooker, sold my apartment over there yesterday. And he said, I've got to sign the contract and everything. So I thought I'll get on a plane and come over there because I've got to clean it out.
Yep.
Just in case our Mr. Mark McGowan over here puts the border up again.
Yeah, right.
So I thought I'll get over there and clean it out. So I got on the plane at 5 o'clock and then about an hour out of Perth, so about 180 k's east of Esperance. It was really, really hot in the cabin where we were sitting actually, and I kept asking the lady, could you turn the air conditioner down, the heater? And everyone was saying, we need more water, we need more water. And then all of a sudden the pilot said the left engine has just stopped.
He said, so the pilot came on the intercom and said it stopped?
Yeah, he stopped. He said it stopped.
Oh, wow.
So he said, we've got one engine, the left engine stopped. We're going to have to go around back to Perth, and it's going to be turbulent because there's a lot of storms.
Oh, mate. How are people reacting?
Well, they just, a bit bemused, I thought. So
bemused? I would have been sobbing.
I had the map tracker on, and then we started going to Kalgoorlie, and I thought, we're not going to Perth, I'm going to Kalgoorlie. Anyway, so we landed in Kalgoorlie, and there was about 6 fire trucks on the thing and a few ambulances or whatever. So we landed in Kalgoorlie about 7 o'clock Perth time, and we left there about 10:30 Perth time to go back to Perth. I got back to my own bed back about 12:30 last night. But it was amazing because something happened with the fuel that I think there was a fuel leak or something because they had to fly 2 engineers up to Perth. And originally they told us we're going to stay in Kalgoorlie overnight and then come to Adelaide today. But there's no hotels in Kalgoorlie, no rooms. Right. So then they had to send a plane up from Perth, pick us all up, and take us back to Perth again. So the upshot of that is we're on the 9:30 plane, I think, this morning from Perth, getting to Adelaide about 2:45 today, I think it is.
Well, Mouse, it's not the same plane you're getting on, is it, Mouse?
No, that one's stuck. That one's stuck on the tarmac in Kalgoorlie, I hope. But the engineers and everyone had the crew were fantastic, by the way. The pilot and the air hostesses, they were fantastic, and so hopefully I'll get over to Adelaide about 2:45 today because I had a lot of stuff planned in and I can't really do much of it all now. So.
Yeah, well, Mouse, we hope you have a less eventful journey back here today. Appreciate you joining us on 5AA Breakfast to tell us that the people on board were bemused when the pilot suggested that the engine had just gone out and turning back would involve piloting a one-engine plane into a storm and there was likely some turbulence on the way.
Yeah. Less than ideal.
It's such that is a very Australian response. People were bemused, like, well, this will be interesting.
Bemused.
Yeah, bemused.
Doesn't seem like the right word to me.
Possibly not.
Full-blown, white-knuckled panic is what I was stumped for there.
That might just be you and I, though.
Yeah,
exactly. Let's talk about something that is something we can be much more positive about. The Adelaide Festival next year will feature Ivor Davies in Icehouse for the 40th anniversary of Great Southern Land. Rachel Healy joins us on 5AA Breakfast. Rachel, good morning to you.
Hi, how are you?
Good. This is a bit of a coup.
Yeah, we're super excited to have arts and entertainment back and to have Icehouse part of our big opening weekend celebrations.
As you said today in the paper too, Rachel, like this isn't some sort of museum piece. This is a song that has really sort of a bit like probably Sounds of Then by Gangajang. It's one of those sort of songs that people really associate with Australia, and it's been picked up by new generations, hasn't it?
It really has. And the interesting thing is that Icehouse and Ivor Davies in particular, I mean, he wrote it when he was touring in America and thinking about his homeland. But on its 40th anniversary, instead of just sort of, thinking in terms of hits and memories, he's wanted to revisit it with his colleagues, his First Nations Aboriginal creative partners. He's been a friend for many, many years with the Didge player, William Barton. And so he's invited him to be part of this concert, along with some other Aboriginal artists, Emily Warramurra, for example, and there'll be others who'll be announced in the next few weeks, because the idea of revisiting Great Southern Land, the song, but also that era through a partnership with Aboriginal musicians is one that sounded really exciting to us, and so we've jumped on board and made it part of the festival.
It's super exciting.
Not just you guys, I think everyone listening too. Rachel Healy, thank you, Director of the Adelaide Festival.
10,000 people.
10,000 people, that's right. $99 a ticket. You'll be on a wait list, and
hopefully we'll be out of the 3-month buffer zone by then.
Wouldn't that be nice? We received some disturbing news from SAPOL a little bit earlier in the morning. Here's Kylie Simpson on a crash at Seaton that claimed a life.
Police and emergency services were called to Seaton at the intersection of Tapless Hill Road and Trimmer Parade just before 7 last night after reports that a ute crashed into a Stobie pole. So the actual impact of the crash brought down power lines and hit a water meter as well. So SA Power Networks and SA Water attended. But sadly, the driver and sole occupant of the ute, a 31-year-old man from West Lakes, died at the scene. So major crash officers attended, examined the circumstances, and sadly the man's death is the 81st life lost on SA roads this year compared to 71 at the same time last year.
Terribly sad news. Yeah. Terribly sad.
All right, it's time for Fuel Watch, thanks to the good people at Glenelg BMW. If you've got an existing BMW service-inclusive package, you can book your next service at Glenelg BMW. It's funny, what we consider cheap spots now for Fuel Watch are the sorts of things we considered stayaways only a couple of weeks ago. Here are the cheap spots. This is cheap. $1.69 on the Salisbury Highway at Greenfields.
That's cheap, is it?
At the BP in the Mobile. That's cheap. $1.64 at the Servo opposite the Maid Hotel in Stepney. $1.62 at the OTR in Tusmore on Greenhill Road. The cheapest, $1.49 in Seaford on Commercial Road. The good news is, if you're a Tesla investor, you can steal some stock to buy fuel this morning.
Oh,
nice. To fill
nice.
up the car.
Nice for some. Are you a Tesla investor, Will?
No, I'm not.
No, me neither.
I wish I was.
Didn't think that one through,
Their
did we?
share price and market cap increased dramatically overnight. $100 billion increase in market cap. The value of the company went up $100 billion last night.
billion.
Elon Musk's net worth went up by $25 billion to $255.2 billion US dollars. He's now the richest person ever after last night.
In history?
Yeah.
So he's beat, Sultan of Brunei and everyone.
So it's 340 billion Australian. As if 255 didn't sound big enough.
He won't be able to fly to Mars. He'll be able to buy Mars at this rate.
Exactly right. We won't be giving you $340 billion, but we will give you a chance to get $1 million in just a moment. The Hospital Research Home Lottery
seems kind of stingy after
that.
that.
It does, doesn't it? Didn't get the order of that right.
No.
You know what? That said, I'd take it.
Yeah, I'd take it.
Yeah,
I'd take
$1 million for the early bird winner in the Hospital Research Home Lottery draw, which is coming up on 5AA Breakfast in just a moment. Let's check traffic. Glenelg BMW now open on Brighton Road. Book a test drive today.
Gillis Plains got a smash on North East Road just after Grand Junction Road. That's inbound. Seaton, urgent electrical works. That's on Tapley's Hill Road near Trimmer Parade after a nasty accident last night. Got a lane closed southbound. Crayford's speeds reduced on the freeway. And we've also got a right-hand lane closed city-bound in the tunnel. It is causing a few delays. Leave early if you're heading that way this morning. Got cameras Military Road, Westlake Shore and Main North Road at Enfield. Right now to Porto Gitters. a delicious pita pocket, 2 crispy chicken strips, coleslaw, regular chips and a 390ml drink for just $9.95. Order in store or take away now. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Rowie Sport Show.
Joining us is the great Dawn Fraser. Now we have the Dawn Award.
I'm just so very, very thrilled about the Dawn Award being announced on the 2nd of December. And I think the whole of Australia will be extremely pleased and surprised at who the person is that wins this.
4 p.m. weekdays.
You're going to have to keep that a secret till December the 2nd, Dawn. I don't think you can do that. I'm going to start prying now.
Rowie Sport Show on 5AA.
Wookalina Walk, Tasmania, 8:17 p.m. A quiet few bend their ears to the elder's voice. 40,000 years. It's a long story to tell, but the night's still young. Tasmania, come down for air.
Australia's making positive energy, which means less emissions and more jobs right across the nation for truckies like Rafa, and tradies like Smithy, and of course techies like Suze. Not for Roger though. It's because you're a cockatoo, Roger. We're creating thousands of new jobs because we know it's what we do today that will define how we live tomorrow. Australia's making positive energy. Find out more at positiveenergy.gov.au. Oh, that's enough, Roger. Authorised by the Australian Government, Canberra.
Well, it's that time again. The Ashes. Just different, aren't they? It's cricket turned up to 11. That's one of your favourite movie lines of all time, isn't
This
it?
one goes up to 11.
There's more pressure, more history, more expectation, more to play for, more passion, more rivalry, more emotion, more intensity, more grit, more glory. Is there any more stuff I've missed, David?
No, I don't think so. No.
It just means more.
More Pims?
More Pims. We can't wait. There's something special about going to a game. The Vodafone Men's Ashes starts December 9, followed by the Commonwealth Bank Women's Ashes on January 27. Tickets are on sale now. Just search Ashes tickets and get behind the Aussies.
At Terry White Chemmart, get Telfast 50 tablets now $26.99. Save 30%. Nothing beats Telfast for fast, non-drowsy 24-hour action. Real value every day at Terry White Chemmart. Always read the label. Follow the directions for use. Sale ends 2nd November 2021.
Mum? Dad?
Hey, honey.
I've met someone.
Oh my God, is he a doctor? A lawyer? Is he a surgeon?
He's a concreter. From Adelaide Exposed Concrete.
But why? Didn't you say so?
At Adelaide Exposed Concrete, we're committed to the highest standards of service, design and workmanship.
Finally, we've got a concreter in the family.
Adelaide Exposed Concrete. Best on ground, all year round.
You can trust 9 News is live and local. Weeknights at 5, nightly at 6. 9 News.
Need a shed strong enough to resist the harsh Australian climate? Visit Olympic Industries, built to last. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
24 minutes after 8, time to give away $1 million. Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery's early bird winner is going to be announced right here, right now on 5AA Breakfast. Paul Flynn, the CEO of the foundation, joins us in the studio. Morning to you, Paul.
Good morning, lads.
We always love you coming in, Paul, because you always come bearing gifts. Gifts motivated by an excellent cause, though, of course.
Well, gifts for two reasons. Someone's going to win that big $1 million cash this morning, but the appreciation we have for the whole community of supporting the Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery and the impact it makes on people's health and wellbeing.
How's it gone over the course of the last 12 months, given that there's a couple of dynamics at play? On the one hand, you've got people where cash is probably a little bit tighter, but on the other, we've never understood better, perhaps, the role that innovation and research plays in our lives. It's kind of important to be researching some of this stuff.
I think people's, what they call health literacy is improving, where people are understanding that you've got to invest in research to make better healthcare. We get that feedback a lot. So this last 18 months from a philanthropy and fundraising perspective has been quite strong, but so too are the expectations of investing it in really impactful research, particularly around COVID, and also with the Bragg Centre being built over on North Terrace, radiation oncology.
Well, we've got, I mean, this is exciting always to get you in, because as David said, you come bearing gifts. So $1 million today. You're going to be back at some time, though, too, with some more for us.
There might be a house down on the Esplanade at Brighton.
Oh!
And $500,000 cash.
Okay.
So
it's the house and the cash together, isn't it?
The house and the cash together. So they've got to be in by Friday night at midnight. This Friday night at midnight. HomeLottery.com.
There's a whole stack of luxury cars as well. It's crazy.
It's a life-changing prize, isn't it? It's a life-changing prize.
It is a life-changing prize, and people have really responded well to the Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery over 18 years.
Yeah.
So it's been very impactful.
I reckon $1 million is pretty life-changing as well. Let's give it away. What we're going to do is we've got a ticket number, the winning ticket number. I've got it here. We will read out the numbers, and we've got people on the line who have ticket numbers that are somewhat similar. So let's do it one by one, and we'll eventually reveal the winner of the $1 million.
You're going to really drag it out, aren't you, Will?
I love dragging it out. And this is what I live for, David.
You're a sadist.
The first number is a 0, 9, 8, 1, 7, and the final number is 7. Do we have a winner on the line? 0, 9, 8, 1, 7, 7. Anthony, is that your ticket number?
Oh, God, yeah, that's me.
Oh, Anthony! Anthony! You've just won $1 million!
That's crazy. I was frantically checking my email for the message. I'm at work, so yeah. Oh, my
Mate, you might not be at work for long. You've just won $1 million.
We thought you might have expired. There was a heart attack situation. Andy was going to call the 000 number.
No, well, I had, I'm a teacher. I was at school this morning, and I had a heap of phone calls. And then they said, I'll just be near the phone at a certain time. And then you started reading out the numbers. And I said, oh, God, I don't know what my number is.
You don't have your number. So you literally had no idea. The dramatic build-up was totally lost on you, Anthony. Hey, what are you going to do with $1 million?
It's so lucky I'm sitting. I have no idea. I don't know.
You sound like a young bloke, mate. Have you got a house yet? You've got a...
No, I think actually my fiancée and I, she's Irish. We tried to get married last year in Ireland. But obviously no one got married in Ireland last year.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll go to Ireland when we can we can travel and get married and then come back and, yeah.
Well, congratulations to you on your engagement. What a wonderful thing to spend at least a part of the $1 million on anyway.
Yeah. Oh, my God. I'm so glad I'm sitting down.
Can you say where you teach, Anthony?
What's that?
Can you tell us where you teach? What school you're at the moment?
Yeah, I teach at Our Lady of the Sacred Heart College at Enfield.
Oh, beautiful.
Lovely.
Well, yeah, I'm sure you'll be in... you'll have a happy disposition for the kids this morning.
I think so, yeah.
There'll be a lot of kids getting full marks for everything they've submitted in the last
I think so.
week or so.
They'll be as happy as I am, yeah.
Congrats to you, Anthony.
Hey, that's excellent.
Hey, thanks for supporting the Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery.
Someone starting out in life, settling down, getting married, needs to buy a house. We'll be able to do all of that, pay for the wedding, pay for the house, and still have some spare change to have a bit of fun with. What an excellent story.
And that's just the start of us giving away some goodies with Paul Flynn and the foundation. Paul, great to have you in, mate.
Thanks very much, guys, and congratulations, Anthony, marrying a good Irish girl. It's great.
29 after 8.
If you make a living out of being a handy person, it's handy to know that Rollerco has got you covered when it comes to parts for sliding doors and windows. Actually, I'd say you're more than covered. We stock over 3,000 different spare parts, which means you can pop in, get what you need, and get back to it. No messing around. Time's money, right? Rollerco. We'll get you rolling. 26 Jacobson Crescent, Holden Hill. Just 15 minutes from the city.
This is a message to all local businesses.
On behalf of all radio listeners.
Let's hear from you. Yeah, we want to know when your laptops are on sale.
FIVEaa has live
Or
music.
if we can book a table online.
There's more of us listening to radio than ever before.
In our cars, on our phones, laptops, smart speakers.
In fact, 95% of all Australians.
That's a lot of potential new customers.
So come on.
Things have opened up.
And we're all ears.
Advertise on radio and watch your business grow. For help with radio advertising, visit radioalive.com.au.
This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Sunny and 30 today with the 8:30 news. I'm Mel Usher.
Had a bingle driving to work? Contact premierpanel.com.au. RAA approved crash repairer.
We're still waiting for South Australia's roadmap out of the pandemic, but it is expected to be released within days. The State Transition Committee will meet today. Meantime, South Aussies are being urged to book in for their first COVID jab by the Friday in order to be fully protected by the time borders open. Less than a quarter of Australians are confident about making travel plans in the next year. Despite the flagged reopening of domestic and international borders, just 23% of respondents to a choice survey say they're comfortable making a booking. That goes up to 68% if they're guaranteed a refund. Choice's Alison Elliott says clear rules need to be in place before borders reopen.
Research showed that 68% of Australians would feel more confident in booking travel if they had a guaranteed right to refund in all cases. Other measures include clear information at the time of booking, an ombudsman that people can go to if they have a complaint.
The man's died following an horrific road crash at Seaton. His vehicle smashed into a Stobie pole on Tapley's Hill Road last night near the Trimmer Parade intersection. Senior Constable Kylie Simpson says the force of the impact resulted in the engine detaching from the car and wheels were found 50 metres away.
Sadly, the driver and sole occupant of the ute, a 31-year-old man from West Lakes, died at the scene. So major crash officers attended, examined the circumstances, but they are asking anyone who may have any dash cam footage or who witnessed the crash but hasn't yet given their details to them to please contact Crime Stoppers on 1800 333 000.
A man's been arrested following a crash on the down track of the freeway. His car went into the embankment at Leewood Gardens last night. Once out of the car, it's alleged the driver became aggressive and was behaving erratically. The 28-year-old from Ranella was taken into custody and then transported to hospital for injuries sustained in the crash. A plan to deal with climate change over the next 30 years will be presented to all coalition members this morning. Nine's Michael Packey has more.
Cabinet has given the green light to demands made by the Nationals to support a net zero emissions target by 2050 after securing safeguards for regional Australia. The Prime Minister will outline the plan to Liberal and National MPs at a joint party room meeting. Liberal Senator Simon Birmingham says Australia needs to move sensibly on the issue.
Because what you do that matters even more than what you say.
The opposition's Bill Shorten says the government is clearly divided.
The coalition's now had more positions on climate change than that famous Indian picture book.
Scott Morrison will take the net zero plan to the Global Climate Summit in Glasgow early next week.
In the US, 6 people, including a police officer, have been injured in a shooting at a mall in Boise, Idaho. 1 person is in custody. Icehouse will perform as part of the Adelaide Festival's opening weekend next March. The band will be celebrating the 40th anniversary of their signature song Great Southern Land. But artistic director Rachel Healy says it'll be a little different from what we used to.
On its 40th anniversary, instead of just sort of, thinking in terms of hits and memories, he's wanted to revisit it through a partnership with Aboriginal musicians is one that sounded really exciting to us. And so we've jumped on board and made it part of the festival.
The full festival program will be released today, featuring 71 events, including 9 world premieres. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Save up to 15% on selected Asco cooking appliances at Adelaide Appliance Gallery, home of Mr Dishwasher.
And it's over to Tom Wren.
Thank you, Mel. England's hopes of winning back the Ashes have been boosted by the inclusion of all-rounder Ben Stokes to its touring squad. The 30-year-old has been called up after undergoing a successful finger surgery. Still on cricket, and former Australian captain Mark Taylor is backing Dave Warner to turn his form around during the remainder of Australia's T20 World Cup matches. Warner's lean run of form continued in the win over South Africa with just 14, but Taylor says Warner isn't far away from a big score.
It hit 3 fours in that 14. You sensed he was just about to go. It's that sort of game. In the space of 10 balls, you can go from being in terrible form to being the match winner.
And Afghanistan has jumped to the top of its group at the T20 World Cup after crushing Scotland by 130 runs. Meantime, South Australia has lost its one-day match against WA after going down by 6 wickets at the WACA. To tennis, Aussie young gun Alexei Popyrin has lost his Vienna opening match to Italian Matteo Berrettini 6-7, 3-6. Earlier, fellow Aussie Alex de Minaur had a straight sets win against South Africa's Kevin Anderson. Tom Brady has picked up another NFL record, becoming the first quarterback in history to throw 600 touchdown passes. And in some soccer to finish, Matildas coach Tony Gustafsson is looking to address the national team's depth issue by blooding some youngsters tonight against Brazil. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Do you have an existing BMW service inclusive package? You can book your next service at Glenelg BMW.
Gillis Plains got a smash on North East Road just after Grand Junction Road. That's inbound. Mount Barker got a smash on Adelaide Road near Morford Road. Torrance Park works causing delays on Belair Road at Blythewood Road, one lane out for outbound. And Seaton, urgent electrical works on Tapley's Hill Road at Trimmer Parade. That's after a serious accident, one lane closed southbound. The final deadline in the Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery is midnight Friday. Don't miss out. Visit homelottery.com.au. Licence M14053. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Head to Foodland, Drake's or IGA for Nutrimate, a new dog roll loaded with healthy nutrients.
Sunny and 30 today, a shower or two developing tomorrow, also 30. Then Thursday showers increasing 27. Right now it's 19 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
G'day, I'm Lucky from Nutrimate and I love my Nutrimate dog rolls because I'm helping local industry as they're made and owned in Australia. They also have added omega-3 to keep my coat beautiful, thiamine and taurine for my eyesight and muscles, and a great firm texture to keep my teeth and gums healthy. So get some Nutrimate into your furry mate. They'll love it. 3 great varieties of Nutrimate dog rolls, now in your local Foodland, Drake's and IGA.
88 O'Connell is coming to life. Architecturally designed by the great people at Woods Bagot, developed by our friends at Commercial and General, 88 O'Connell is seriously one of the most incredible developments to come onto the market in a very long time.
Yes, 88 O'Connell encapsulates connected living with swimming pools, state-of-the-art gym, indoor and outdoor dining, a fresh food marketplace and retail shopping, and of course everything else that the fabulous North Adelaide location has to offer right on your doorstep.
And look, you can check it out now. The 88 O'Connell display suite is open and it features a fully furnished 2-bedroom apartment. Take the time to wander through and really appreciate this incredible development, the impressive design and the fabulous lifestyle it offers. Choose from 2, 3 and 4-bedroom apartments with exceptional views of the city, the hills or the coast. 88 O'Connell, North Adelaide, more than an address.
Drive your business further with a Renault Traffic van, like Daniel from Team Tank Logistics.
We rely on Renault Traffic to deliver freight safely. They're really fuel efficient and we get plenty of Ks out of a tank.
Renault Traffic from $39,990, drive away.
It's my business, it's my van.
Need a shed strong enough to resist the harsh Australian climate? Visit Olympic Industries, built to last. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
22 to 9, combating the harsh climate. Climate's very much the topic of conversation in Australia and right around the world at the moment. It's something we want to pursue with the leader of the Labor Party federally too, Anthony Albanese, who joins us on 5AA Breakfast now. What was the regular time, Albo and Pine? It was a Wednesday at 8:30, wasn't it?
Yeah, it
so
was.
Slightly out of the comfort spot of usual, but good to have you on, Albo.
Because we're even more advanced now. We've got rid of Pine, who clearly was a 24-hour drag on us.
We better be careful. He might ring in, Albo, and steal your thunder.
He's always trying. Don't you love politicians who leave politics and then just really miss the limelight? I mean, he's back on Sky, for goodness sake.
He's got his own show.
Yeah, well, more people are listening to your show, I'm sure. Do you know what time it's on?
Hope the big boss doesn't hear that.
Do you know what time it's on? I bet you don't. No one does. No one does. No one cares.
Hey, did you wake up with a spring in your step on Monday reading news poll, or you going to give us the pat political answer? The only poll that matters is the one on election day.
You're spot on with your second observation there, David. That's the truth. What I've been focused on from the day I became leader was polling day, but also on making sure we can be a good government if we're successful. So politicians do look at polls, of course they do, and you'd rather they be good than bad. That's the truth. But it doesn't change the government in now, even though the government, of course, would have gone to an election if they thought that was in their interest at this time. And that they still might in December. We'll wait and see. I think it's probably unlikely, but they still might on December 11. We're prepared for that. But we've been very focused on, more strategy, less tactics, making sure that we don't get distracted by the next poll, but that we work to have a coherent program and an alternative, as well as holding the government to account.
We don't know yet the detail of the government's agreement
Right.
with the Nats when it comes to the net zero by 2050, the agreement they came to. So we're trying to sort of tease it out by virtue of some of the policy positions they adopt thereafter.
Well, we know one thing.
Oh,
Keith Pitt
yes,
got
I
in
knew.
the cabinet.
Yes.
Keith Pitt got in the cabinet. I mean, for goodness sake, he opposed net zero by 2050 in the party room, but then got promoted into the cabinet. So we know it's good for his increased salary, but that's all we know up to this point.
Well, we wonder this morning if getting the Productivity Commission to run a rule over the impact of the commitment on regional and rural communities might be part of it. But setting the agreement aside, do you think it's appropriate that we get the Productivity Commission to assess the impact of the net zero by 2050 commitment?
Well, I think the Productivity Commission can look at whatever it likes, but that's a bit of window dressing, really, from the government. The fact is that we don't have any costings at all. We don't have any modelling. The Senate actually passed a resolution last week that the modelling should be tabled, and the Minister, Taylor, invoked the secrecy rule to say that wasn't appropriate. Now, I seem to remember an election campaign where the coalition ran around and said, what are the costs, what's the modelling, what are you basing policies on, when they were running a scare campaign that electric vehicles would end the weekend, and that the battery there in South Australia, the big battery was as useful as a big prawn or a big banana, according to Scott Morrison.
Big lobster in SA, thanks.
But there is a big lobster there. But there's also a damn big battery. It's been very effective. The fact that they're not giving out any of the information, that there's no transparency, this is all just about a political fix, because Scott Morrison couldn't go to Glasgow not supporting net zero by 2050. He would have not been allowed in the room, effectively. And so the government knew that. Last year, Scott Morrison was excluded from a conference that Boris Johnson convened on climate change. When President Biden convened a conference in April, Australia was speaker number 28 after Brunei and after a whole lot of countries that certainly aren't as significant as Australia. So this is all about the politics. It's never about the substance. And that's why we've seen the mess that we have over the last couple of weeks. So part of what we'll be saying come the next election is the government acknowledges net zero by 2050 is the way to go. The government acknowledges now climate change is real. They are acknowledging that we need to take action. Who do you trust to do that? A Labor Party that believes that climate change is real, that believes we can create jobs and opportunity by taking action, or a coalition that's drag kicking and screaming and has to offer cabinet posts in order to get positions across the line.
Albo, your federal member for Adelaide, Steve Georgianis, has done quite a lot of work advocating on behalf of the 8,000-odd South Australians who've been stranded interstate with the border closures. There's a debate going on locally with our transition committee about how we get out of these restrictions and whether we even do straight away. What's Federal Labor's view on border closures and also the maintenance of restrictions?
Look, we think that we should be opening up when it's safe to do so. I haven't done what the federal coalition have done, which is to criticise state governments run by the other side of politics. But I think that common sense should apply, and that we should be trying to get people home safely, whether it be from interstate or from overseas. Australians overseas, of course, were told they'd be home by last Christmas. Now they're being told they'll be home by this Christmas.
When's your next Adelaide trip? Have you got anything lined up?
As soon as I'm allowed to come, mate.
That's right, you're still barred, aren't you?
I am barred from everywhere. As we speak, I am barred from everywhere except for Sydney. I at least can go home. I couldn't go home for 3 months. I was locked out of home effectively. But I look forward to coming to Adelaide. I'm told that potentially you're opening up on December 3rd. And if that's the case, that's when Parliament ends around about then. So I'll be there as soon as I can. I did get to Adelaide earlier this year while you were open and spoke at the party conference there, and I think I came into your studio.
That's
there
right.
Too.
Yep.
So I look forward to being in the studio there. You always get served a coffee and well looked after by you guys.
Yeah, no, it's a very welcoming environment.
So we'll book it in. If it's open December 3rd and Parliament's not sitting, I'm there.
The key word there with December 3rd seems to be potentially at the moment, but we'll keep following that. Anthony Albanese, the Leader of the Opposition, thanks for joining us this morning on 5AA.
Thanks very much, guys. Stay safe, everyone. Get vaccinated.
Yeah,
absolutely.
100%.
So December 3rd then, obviously the date that's being targeted for 80% vaccination.
Yep.
That's when the 3-month grace period will start.
Who knows? Who knows?
Possibly.
We're going to put in a call to the Premier to see if we can get him on the show tomorrow to get some clarity around that.
All I'll say about that story, and it has been the dominant topic of conversation all morning, no one's contacted us to say any of it's wrong.
No, that's right. Exactly.
That's probably the most concerning development this morning.
The other thing is, during the course of the show, while I've been talking about it, I've had texts from a whole bunch of really senior people who have big interests in, running major public events and what have you, and they're just going,
yeah,
it's like a recurring nightmare.
I just keep waiting for the denial to come, but it hasn't.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, who's going to deny it?
Well, it should be the state government, shouldn't it? To say, listen, that's not part of our thinking. I mean, clearly, maybe it is. Well, it clearly is.
Yeah.
Until we hear it isn't. Do you have an existing BMW service-inclusive package? We can book your next service at Glenelg BMW.
Gillis Plains got a smash on North East Road just after Grand Junction Road inbound. Mount Barker got a collision there too, Adelaide Road near Morford Street. Torrens Park, works causing delays on Belair Road at Blythewood Road, 1 lane out for outbound. And Seaton, urgent electrical works Tapley's Hill Road at Trimmer Parade. That's after a serious accident, 1 lane closed southbound. Got cameras today, Grey Terrace, Rosewater, Hartley Road at Flinders Park. Enjoy unlimited free deliveries on every shop over $50 with Woolworths Delivery Unlimited. Try for free at woolworths.com.au. Minimum spend $50, 1 trial per customer, T's and C's apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
You have just 3 days until the absolute final deadline in the Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery. You could be collecting the keys just in time for summer to your fully furnished Scott Salisbury home on the Esplanade at South Brighton with $500,000 cash. Join the fight and get your tickets today. Proceeds support all South Australians, fighting cures and improving care in our hospitals. Visit homelottery.com.au. Licence M144053.
I'm Kathy Nagel, the Chief Executive of Western Hospital Henley Beach. Navigating the healthcare landscape in South Australia can be difficult, particularly when looking for a specialist. Western provides a single point of contact to assist you with a wide range of your specialist needs. Even if we don't undertake the specialty, we can assist you to find a doctor to suit your needs. Western Hospital, your hospital that cares. For more information, call us on 8159 1200 or visit westernhospital.com.au.
A budget car and truck rental have added a new location at 354 North Road, Clemzig. So now more than ever, the answer is always yes.
That's right. It's an enthusiastic yes to car and truck rentals, yes to minibus rentals. You can drive on a car licence.
Yes to four-wheel drives and utes, yes to tippers, yes to mobile cool rooms and refrigerated trucks and vans.
How good are tippers? I borrowed a mate of mine's got a tipper. I borrowed it off him, Pete, if you're listening. Thank you again. I borrowed it off him the other week. I was just tipping stuff for no good reason.
I just get the sense every time you see a ute, you get misty-eyed.
I do get a little bit sad. I should get into budget car and truck rentals and just
should.
rent one. Yes to open and enclosed trailers. Yes to 5 and 8 ton Pantex, where they are, but they're good.
No,
they move things.
Well, if you've ever asked, they
5
say
or 8 tons.
They say yes.
Yeah, that's right.
Your second question could be, what's a Pantech? At budget car and truck rental, the answer is always yes, with convenient locations at Adelaide Airport, in the city, Marston, Salisbury, Ranella, and now 354 North East Road, Clemzig. Call Budget Car and Truck Rental on 132727. That's 13 27 27.
There's never been a more important time to protect your family's future. So start by making a will. Maurice Blackburn's My Life Wills online service provides legally valid wills written by expert lawyers for a fixed price. Get started from the comfort and convenience of your own home. To protect your loved ones, head to mauriceblackburn.com.au/create my will today.
Conditions apply.
You can trust 9 News is live and local. Weeknights at 5, nightly at 6. 9 News.
Need more living space or storage? Visit olympicindustries.com.au. Olympic Industries, built to last. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Your touches thrill me like the rush of the wind.
9 to 9. So many texts on the Telstra Storm Out Barker text line this morning about the advertiser story this morning with regard to the possible 3-month grace period that will follow the opening of borders. And by that we mean a period whereby nothing really will change in terms of the restrictions on behaviours in South Australia. All that will change is the capacity for people to access the state from other places in the country. We'll get to some more of those if time allows in a moment. But first, let's go behind closed doors, thanks to Aussie Fast Transport Solutions, interstate freight, distribution, warehousing and local Adelaide couriers. Call Aussie Fast, 13 13 64.
And when we get behind closed...
The 5AA Gardening Show with Mike Keelan
and Angie McBride. 13 minutes to 7 o'clock, 8223 0000 on 5AA. Michael Killen's Gardening Show. Hello, Michael.
Right. Hello, Ange. Let's talk to Barry. Good morning, Barry.
Good morning. I'm on Ange.
Yep.
Numerous weeks in a row on a Sunday morning she gives a time call.
Yep.
It should be 13 to 8, it's 13 to 7. You just done it again this morning, Ange.
Right.
Did I?
You need to alter your clock.
Right. Might need to alter your attitude, Barry.
Blakey should do a skit on her and
No,
say,
he-
you need to get your watch wound up.
Blakey wouldn't do that. He knows how it upsets me.
Becoming consistently wrong every Sunday morning.
Right. Well, you're becoming consistently a pain in the bum, Barry.
She just said
Yeah, we know what she said.
13 to 7, when in actual fact it was 13 to 8.
You've just told us that, Barry. You need a new record because the one you've got stuck.
And it happens nearly, it's happened at least 4 or 5 times in the last...
Oh, good on you, Barry. That's very impressive. So you can count. I'm sure you're past kindergarten.
You get a watch you put on your wrist.
I've got 5 clocks in here as it is. I don't need another one.
Right. Hang up on him, Ange.
I have, Michael.
But look, Angie, in the cosmic scope of things, what does it matter if you give the occasional wrong time call?
Yeah, that's right. I'm only human, Michael.
That's right.
12 minutes to 4 on Michael Keelan's Gardening Show.
Right. 12. Yeah. A lot of good things coming up this morning on the show too, Angie.
Yes, and we'll be here till 5 o'clock to take your...
Right. Yeah. We've got a couple of prizes to give away too.
Yes, and we'll be doing that, Michael, sometime before midnight tomorrow.
No, 10 o'clock this morning.
Yeah, that's what I meant. What did I say?
You said midnight tomorrow.
I'm only human, Michael.
It's great, isn't it, that everybody's getting out in the garden lately. The sun's been shining, beautiful weather, and people are feeling good.
They are, Michael, because let's face it, it's been a pretty tough 2023, hasn't it?
Right.
Michael Keelan's Gardening Show, 8223 0000 is the number, 16 to 12.
Didn't know the gardening show got that aggro.
Yeah.
What about Barry?
People don't like you getting the time wrong.
Speaking of
I
gardening,
get the time wrong sometimes, so...
ominous news today for citrus growers, with the gall wasp being on the march. Today's Tizer reports backyard fruit growers are being warned the dreaded citrus gall wasp is primed to emerge from today. It's been in hibernation, lurking in the lumps that you find on the trunks and branches of your backyard citrus trees, orange, lemon, lime, mandarin. I had to cut the living suitcase out of mine. They hacked back to the trunk last year, had so much gall.
I was reading that story this morning. Are you still in what's the situation with kids having fruit in their lunch boxes where you are at the moment?
If you're in the red zone, you can't.
You were in the red zone.
No, we're on the edge of it. Well, we're in it for a while, and then we're out of it. We were out of it.
So they're allowed to take fruit to school?
Yeah, if you're in the orange zone, I think you can. But there's some good news though on the fruit fly front. The government thinks that the $55 million battle that they've been waging to eliminate the pests is going to result in restrictions being lifted in December, which is good news.
We needed the fruit fly people handling COVID.
Yeah,
we've done a good job of keeping that out of South Australia, given that it exists everywhere else.
The gall situation is frankly galling. There's a product that you can get though, Bacillus citrus gall wasp spray. It's kale and clay, and you just paste it onto the little nodules. There you go. Well, now you know in case you have a gall problem.
Well, yeah, as you know, big citrus guy. I'm growing all the citruses. What a night.
The NBN network is made for more. Streaming, game downloads, smart farming, online business, virtual learning and more. Search NBN Made for More. Experience may vary depending on factors such as NBN technology, internet provider, plan and equipment.
Do you experience discomfort from varicose veins? If so, you may be suffering from venous reflux disease. Symptoms can include varicose veins, leg or ankle swelling, heavy and fatigued legs, as well as pain, aching or cramping. Without treatment, those with the disease may experience progressive symptoms that can significantly impact their quality of life. If you or a loved one are experiencing these symptoms, contact your GP to see if the cyanoacrylate procedure could be right for you, because relief is just the beginning. A message from Medtronic Australasia.
If you're a landlord or a tenant, then check this out. Toop and Toop have just launched an industry first. They're now giving tenants early access to rental properties.
Tenants can now secure a home up to 2 months sooner and before they become publicly available.
So tenants, what you do, you simply register on the Toop and Toop website, and then they will notify you of any properties that match your needs. And for landlords, this innovation could save you hundreds. You can secure quality tenants up to 2 months in advance.
Oh, that would be fantastic. And look, before you incur hundreds of dollars in advertising costs, you get this service. So you've saved yourself money and made the whole process more convenient for you. It's brilliant, an incredible concept by Toop and Toop, and the one that is absolutely needed in today's renting climate. If you want to tap into this incredible tenant network, head to toop.com.au or give them a call today.
You have just 3 days until the absolute final deadline in the Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery. You could be collecting the keys just in time for summer to your fully furnished Scott Salisbury home on the Esplanade at South Brighton with $500,000 cash. Join the fight and get your tickets today. Proceeds support all South Australians, fighting cures and improving care in our hospitals. Visit homelottery.com.au. Licence M14053.
Need a shed strong enough to resist the harsh Australian climate? Visit Olympic Industries, built to last. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
90 seconds to 9 o'clock. Leon Biner taking over very, very shortly. Tomorrow morning on 5AA Breakfast, we'll be chatting with Peter Fitzsimons in his capacity as an author. He's released a biography of Sir Hubert Wilkins, the polar explorer, pilot, soldier, geographer, photographer. There was a time in human history where people did lots of stuff. Like impressive people did turn their hand at everything. Cartography,
the term
botany.
Renaissance man.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't seem to happen there. Everyone's a specialist these days.
Yeah. It's a bit like the old boys' own adventure books where, you know, you'd spend your childhood doing all this risky stuff and carry it into adult life. We have got so many texts today, folks, on the Telstra Store Mount Barker text line, and as we said earlier, almost intractable the gulf between people saying 3-month buffer, you're kidding, versus those saying, well, if a 3-month buffer is what we need to do this safely, so be it. We are going to try to get the Premier to come on the show tomorrow because it feels like we need some clarity around all of this, and he's the bloke running the state, so it's only right that we put those questions to him about, you know, where to from here. Because a lot of people are saying, well, hang on a minute, I've done my bit, I've kept up my end of the bargain, I got vaccinated twice and, you know, responded to all of the ads, roll up your sleeves for SA.
Yeah.
So let's see What next? Because it's the number one question in town right now.